something's different.
I am changing.
I don't know if I like who I'm becoming.
Boyd, there are a lot of people wanting to know what happened down there.
Where's Dad? Why isn't he back yet?
Tabitha.
We need to talk.
It means everything they showed us. It's real. I think they're doing it to make us afraid.
Well, then it worked. There is something ancient here. And it's feeding off our suffering, and it doesn't stop.
We're losing. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the goddamn rules. There is no way to fight back against those things. Everything we've done, every sacrifice we've made, none of us are going anywhere.
You think you're some kind of hero? You're a monster.
Lord, please protect us in this dark place where evil roams so freely. This we ask in your name. Amen.
One way or another, the truth always comes out.
I would make sure it doesn't. We're running out of time, and we still don't know the rules.
Everything here is impossible, but it's also real.
Saving those children is how we all go home.
There's something else here now. Something new.
Your wife shouldn't have dug that hole, Jim.
Okay, ding-dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Eyes and Fire, you're gonna spend the night in the box.
And welcome all to the Fromville Hour. And here we go, folks. Here we go. From season 4 is officially back and in full swing. And it's hard to believe there's only been one episode so far. It already feels like we are fully 100% back in From mode. And I guess that's kind of a testament to the episode and some of the things that I think the episode did kind of well. But yeah, man, From season 4 is here, guys. From season 4 is here. Tonight, we're going to talk a little bit about episode 1, of course, dive into what we liked, what we didn't like. Ravener and I haven't had a chance to really talk about the first episode together yet, so this will be fun getting his thoughts on things. And of course, we'll take a look ahead at episode 2 and give some of our theories and predictions as to what is going to come next week, along with taking a look at the episode 2 trailer. But looking forward to diving into all of this madness with each and every one of you. Welcome one, welcome all. Ravener, good to have you, my friend.
Yeah, man, it's good to be back on. I don't want to bury the lead. The first episode's always a tough one because they had a lot of cliffhangers, a lot of loose ends dangling.
Wrap up. Yeah,
that absolutely demanded answers, right? And they couldn't time jump. I'm glad they dealt with it. I think you'd mentioned it on one of your recorded videos that they jumped right in to exactly where they left off. They didn't teleport people back to the surface and and then have a big exposition dump. It's tough. It's tough to tie up all the loose ends. They also had to do basically a roll call of who's going to matter in this season, kind of. So they have to give at least some people a little bit of screen time, and then also set up everything else that they have. They have to set up all the plot lines and the enthusiasm for the whole rest of the season. So I thought they definitely hit more than they missed, I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah, definitely. And you're right. I mean, the first episode of a new season, it's always difficult because you want to, like you said, you want to set the tone, but you also want to set the bar pretty high. And that's why I kind of last week when we were talking about this exact topic, I brought up the season 3 premiere and how strong the first episode in season 3 really was. Like, it really set the bar so high for the rest of that season with the death of Tien Chen right out the gate. And I thought this episode was a strong premiere, not as strong as the season 3s, but definitely strong. I feel like it accomplished what it needed to accomplish in terms of getting us back into the world of From, picking up right where we left off. And again, I am also so glad we didn't get a 2-3 day time jump like we got in between seasons 2 and 3. It literally picked up right where we left off, where the first thing we see is Jim's body literally falling and hitting the ground right after the man in yellow ripped his throat out. So I love how they didn't skip a beat. Like, they didn't skip a second. It's throat rip, next episode starts, boom, body's fucking falling. I love that. I thought that was great for, just for continuity purposes, especially when shows like this that are on hiatus for as long as they are. You kind of need to give people a refresher course, like you said, reintroduce the audience into what storylines are going to be prominent, where people are going to be going, where we last left these characters off. So, like you said, getting it, nailing the first episode of a new season is never easy. But overall, like you said, they did far more good than bad.
Yeah. And the season 3 premiere, that was basically, I think they'd kind of heard a little bit of the, I don't want to say discontent, but basically discontent about how season 2, because I was one of the ones that season 2 didn't really hit as hard. I didn't care much about the cicada stuff, and it seemed a little weird. A lot of the, psychological stuff, they went away from the straight up horror. And then with season 3's premiere, they jumped right back into the good old, jump scares, horror. And a lot of that was, a lot of the love for season 3 premiere was relief that they're course correcting, and then the hope that it was going to continue. And I thought that season 3 was good. And I know other people may have really liked season 2 or understood that season 2 needed to be where it was. Yeah. Mm-hmm. But this one was pretty decent. And they jumped right in. I like that was actually the first thing I had on my if Voight's Mr. Fish and Loaves, I'm Mr. Copious Notes, because I take copious notes. And Doug Hughes he's so cheeky. I like his villain because he's so cheeky. He's got that smile, humor, kind of. Yeah, he's giving you the side eye and like just telling you, and almost like Bond villain kind of. He's gonna tell you what he's gonna do before he does. Yes.
Yeah. And for me, I feel like that can land really well, and sometimes it can seem like maybe too much exposition sometimes when the villain is straight up telling you what they're going to do. But the way Doug plays it, like you said, he plays it with this kind of this kind of comedic kind of undertone to it almost. Like, you hear the way he's talking to Julie. He's like, didn't anyone ever tell you? You can't change a story once it's been told. Like, he's got that he's got that aspect of that kind of sadistic humor underneath all of the the villainous. I think he plays the character well. I think it's a nice blend, a nice mix. And it's created a pretty unique villain. Just from the imagery itself, the yellow suit, it's very, the imagery itself has already become iconic. But I think they've crafted a very interesting and unique villain here, and it's going to be fun to see it go forward, especially now that with this whole kind of shape-shifting thing that is now being introduced. It's going to be really interesting to see this, what other shapes that this man in yellow, this entity in yellow, ends up taking on, and kind of seeing the differences in how each actor or actress plays the same character. Because it's always interesting when you have multiple actors or multiple actresses playing the same character, like we have here. We have the man in yellow, but he can take many different forms. So we already have 2 different actors playing him, with Doug and with this new character, Sophia. So I think that's going to be interesting too, to see like the differences in how some of these actors play this same character. Because when we asked Doug about it, and here he is in the chat. Welcome, Doug. Welcome. Good to see you, my friend. And when we asked Doug about it, PM actually asked him, did you and the other actress that is also playing the man in yellow, did they kind of compare notes? Did they have any time together to talk about how each other are going to play the character? And they didn't. From what Doug kind of explains it, the directors kind of leave the actors a little bit to their own devices for the most part, and to kind of get into the performance themselves. But from what I gather, there wasn't a whole lot of kind of exchange between Doug and Sophia's actress in terms of how they're playing this character. And it lined up pretty well. Like the continuity of it lined up pretty well, considering they didn't really collab a whole lot.
Yeah. I mean, if you hadn't have just said that, I wouldn't. I would have assumed that they had collaborated, because
Me too.
When Sophia made her her villainous turn or whatever at the very end, it was like, okay, yeah. I mean, it was so consistent with the way that Doug. And then I'd like to ask about those gross black teeth, because man, he's always smiling, but those teeth are something, man.
Yeah. The black teeth are pretty interesting. Which the black teeth disappear, of course, when he turns into Sophia. Right. But yeah, he's got these those dark black teeth. They're menacing, if nothing else. It's very much menacing. And yeah, I mean, it seems like everybody's been really enjoying the performance of the Man in Yellow up until this point, and I am too. I'm looking forward to seeing where this is going to go. But we'll see. We shall see. But yeah, again, episode 1, it really did. I thought it started off with a really good, a strong start where, again, we get reintroduced into all the characters. The storylines kind of get reintroduced and we reaffirm where everybody's at. And then it kind of just goes on. One thing I liked about episode 1 is I thought the pacing was pretty decent. I didn't find it too slow and I didn't find it too fast. Just for me personally, I thought that they kind of did a good job with their transition shots. And I think that sometimes, just for me personally, as someone that that studies film and studies cuts and those kind of things, seeing good transition shots for me in a show, like I know it's a nitpicky thing for maybe a lot of people, and maybe some people don't even notice it. But for me, like it really stands out, good or bad transitions. I know you're like this too. I know it's something you notice as well, because we've talked about this in the past, you and I. So one thing I did notice about episode 1 is I thought the transitions of, the pacing and the transitions from scene to scene were pretty seamless for the most part. It was pretty flawless. It kind of carries and flows over from one to the next, because there is an art to that. Like it's not just simple as just going from one scene to another. There is an art in having a good kind of transfer from scene to scene. And I think From does it, as well as any show I've seen. But this first episode, just for the flow, the pacing of it wise, I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah. And I mean, one thing that this show did a lot, or, is famous kind of for doing, is just having somebody like burst in, like, Donna would just burst in, or, Clara burst in, somebody will they'll be in the middle of a real heavy dramatic moment, and before it gets too heavy, and sometimes to the detriment, they don't let the moment really simmer for a minute, but somebody will burst in and there'll be another, and they did that in this episode too, but thankfully they'll do it in a different way, because if you go to the well too many times, it starts getting memed on. This one, they were in, Boyd was in, and this is, jumping way ahead in the episode, but when Boyd was talking to Donna and telling and Fatima about what he saw down there, and then you hear this like rumbling, and it was just Victor rolling that fold out bed.
That was so good.
But it was like, what the hell? But then, but the thing is, and it wasn't a throwaway scene, though. It kind of gave me the sense of how chaotic things were, and everybody, it kind of did reinforce for me that everybody there has their own lives and they're all doing something independent of each other. So there might be like the head cheeses in one room sitting there having a talk session over the most important thing in the world, but there's a bunch of other people out there in the world that are doing random things, and here's Victor just thrashing this bed through the hallway. I was like, okay, but it kind of gave me that sense of how chaotic everything really was, and that it's a living world, and that things are going on outside of that room, that there's other stuff. This is a living world. It also reinforced to me that Henry is fucking toast. Henry is dead.
I'm so worried for Henry. I'm so worried for Henry. I really am. Oh man, I was worried for Henry last season, let alone this season. After he's fulfilled a pretty important narrative purpose. You know, the reunion with Victor, getting Tabitha to get those, help get those memories back by seeing those paintings and all that. So you wonder, like, okay, did he serve his purpose narrative wise, and is this a character that's going to get killed off in some horrific way? Especially when you see something like that. See, when I saw that scene, and you hit the nail on the head, it wasn't just a throwaway scene. It's not like it was just a throwaway scene to throw in some comedic levity. That there was a narrative purpose for that scene. That tells us that, we saw how season 3 ended with Victor, going up to his father and telling him, hey, you don't have to be my father anymore. That's it. You're not my dad anymore. Like, so ashamed of himself, so ashamed that he couldn't save his wife, so ashamed that he couldn't save his daughter. And then we saw that really good moment between Victor and his dad, with him kind of just reassuring him, like, hey, like your mom did everything she could to protect you. It's my turn now. So I love how we see the next time we see them, it's Victor bringing a bed into his room because he wants to room with his father, because he wants to get closer with his father. And that tells me that that relationship is on the way to, being repaired, and they're working on becoming a father and son. And it tells me that in some way, like a child, Victor wants his dad near him to also keep him safe too. Like, he knows the dangers of this place. I think Victor wants his dad near him to keep him safe as well. So I thought, like you said, it wasn't just a throwaway scene where it's just Victor kind of, fucking rummaging through the hall with this freaking cot. It had meaning to it. It had deeper meaning to it, especially when you consider where those characters left off at the end of season 3. So like you said, it was definitely not a throwaway scene. It was a very important scene narrative, for their, a character driven scene for their kind of relationship kind of taking the next step, and then kind of really becoming father and son. So yeah, I thought it was funny too. Don't get me wrong. It was fucking hilarious. So it does also serve as comedic relief, but it was more than that.
Yeah. Cause I mean, the first thing you hear is this giant, giant rumbling. And you're like, what the hell's going on? Is Colony House crashing down now too? No, it's just Victor rolling this bed.
No, it's just Victor rolling in a fucking bed. Yeah. I mean, it's Victor doing Victor things.
But that's going to be, that's going to put, but the part of making a death consequential is making you care for the character. And Henry has been a good guy, a good character. And I know, like, early on, people were like, oh, he's an alcoholic, he must have been abusive, he must have been, they were projecting a whole bunch of negative stuff on him. This guy was basically just a good guy trying to deal with the stuff that Miranda was doing. Guy. He wasn't a bad guy in any way. And, as they have more and more tender moments between himself and Victor, you do tend to care about the character more than you would, say, Paula, the one where the cicadas crawled out of her or whatever, or Paula's boyfriend who doesn't even have a name now. It separates them from the red shirts.
Exactly. Yeah.
So yeah, when I'm not even gonna say if, when he bites it, it's gonna hurt. It's gonna sting. Not Tien Chen level, but it's gonna be like, ooh.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, and I could actually even see it being, close to Tien Chen level, not maybe quite on that level. Tien Chen was such, like, the heart and soul of the whole show. But, just seeing all, like, the really good, heartwarming scenes we've gotten between Victor and Henry over since he's joined the show. Yeah, I could see his death being, close to as sad as Tien Chen's, especially when you see Scott McCord's reaction. Like, I can only imagine how good Scott McCord would play a scene like that. Like, we see how good he is at these really heavily emotionally charged scenes. I can only imagine how much he would just tear a scene like that up if he did have to react to his father dying.
Right. And that's going to be it. Yeah. That's exactly it. It'll be Victor's reaction to it. That's going to be probably more heartbreaking than losing Henry, just in general. But yeah, it'll be watching his reaction to it. And again, I have no idea. I'm just assuming, but I'm assuming, when I say I have,
if it happens, it's going to be along those lines. Yeah,
I have him high. Well, I mean, he even before the season, Henry was on my. He's on my shit.
Yeah, he's been on my list. Mm-hmm.
Now, I just like Christy. I think Christy's going to get it too, but I
they've been foreshadowing that. Foreshadowing that. But real quick, I just want to say a thank you and a welcome. It looks like we got 2 new members of the channel. Wow, thank you so much for becoming a member of the channel. We got 34 Songstress has become a new member. welcome, welcome, welcome. And we also got Morgan Hetzel has also become a new member of the channel. Welcome one, welcome all. Thank you guys so much for becoming members of the channel. Very, very much appreciate it. And of course, all members have access to the custom From emojis. And if you guys have requests for any new ones that you want, let me know and I will definitely make them for you. But thank you guys so much. We've been thinking about doing something special for members. I mean, members that are supporting the channel, like, you know, they go out of their way to support their the channel, something that they definitely don't have to do. So we have been thinking about maybe doing like a member stream, you know, maybe like we'll do like once a month, like a member stream where anyone who's a member of the channel will have, you know, a chance to, I'll throw the link down and anyone who's a member of the channel will have a chance to kind of hop on the panel, hang out with us, talk, you know, basically stream with us pretty much. And I also want to do some live call-ins for everybody else as well. So even if you're not a member of the channel, we'll be doing some live call-ins too. Because we get a lot of requests to do those. It's not something I do often on the channel, but if we get enough requests for something, I always want to honor the requests we get from you guys in the chat, like whatever you guys want to do. And we have been getting some requests for some stuff like that. So I'm totally down for doing that too. But I've just been thinking about trying to do something special for the members, you know what I mean? Because I feel like, you know, they go, you know, out of their way to support the channel, and that's so super nice of them. So I want to think of something kind of interesting to do for you guys. So be on the lookout. I had a few good ideas I think could be fun. But thank you so much for joining. Very much appreciate you. And of course, we also have another member, Kiwi, who has been a member for 33 months. Holy cow, 33 friggin' months Kiwi's been a member for. One of our originals, one of the first members we had when I first turned memberships on this channel. Because for a while there, I didn't turn them on. But thank you so much, Kiwi. You've always been an awesome member of the channel and of the community as a whole. And yeah, woohoo, feels like it was yesterday. Thanks, Jeremy and co. I mean, it does, right? I mean, I know I haven't been streaming for too many years. But yeah, at times it does feel like we just got started yesterday, you know? Yeah. But yeah, here we are, guys. Here we are. Season 4 of From is here. And of course, I'm sure many of you have probably already heard the news that season 5 of From has officially been greenlit. And they have announced that that will be the final season of From. From is officially coming to an end next season with season 5. That will be their last one. And I was pretty happy. I mean, again, part of me would always want more From, just like the fan in me. If we could continue to get this quality of storytelling for many more seasons, I would love that, of course. But on the other hand, part of me really, you know, appreciates and respects them kind of sticking to their original plan. Because we did hear John Griffin kind of say, like, you know, 5 seasons was kind of always the goal. So we've been hearing that from the beginning. And if that's all they need to properly tell the story, to properly wrap it up, then I'm totally fine with that. And if anything, I applaud their discipline and not stretching it beyond that. Because with a show like this, when it's, you know, it's really started to grow in popularity. Like From it's never been more popular than right now. So I could totally understand, like, if the network kind of, you know, at least approached them and said, hey, do you want to do more seasons? I imagine the network would probably want to keep the show going if they wanted to. But
do a Walking Dead
stuff. Exactly. But then you don't want it to turn into something like The Walking Dead, where it just gets diluted and the quality really takes a dip. And that's why I applaud them for having that discipline to kind of just saying, no, we're going to stick to our original plan. We're letting the story tell us when it's time to end. And that is the best answer that I've heard when, you know, hearing, oh, why are you ending such a popular show now? That's why, because this is when the story is telling us to end. This was always the plan. This was always supposed to be where the show was going. So again, the fan in me would love to get more From for years and years and years. But I applaud them kind of sticking to that plan. And I think that shows, you know, some discipline on their part where other creators don't have that discipline.
Oh, absolutely. And, you know, I'm a huge fan of finales. I want like I say, I always say, you know, finish it well, but finish it. And I've seen way too many shows that have done that have dragged on till it's kind of like a relative that you don't like or something, but you're still related. You're like, you know, I love you, but I'm just, you know, I don't really fucking care what you do. I don't want to see this show become that. I want to be enthusiastic and I want it to finish and be great all the way to the end. And I think they can do that. I mean, if they have a finale in sight, they will you don't leave anything on the table. Then you put it all out there, get all the narrative, get all of all the emotional punches, get everything out onto the table and present your best foot. And, I'm a huge fan of that. So if that means that we got 19 more episodes, I'm good with that. Just 19 hours. It's worth it.
Yeah, I mean, it's still a lot of fun. Again, we still got this whole season that we're watching right now, a whole nother season to look forward to. That'll probably be 10 episodes as well. And who knows? I mean, who knows if it, depending on how the main series ends, who knows if there'll be room for a sequel series down the road, or maybe even a prequel series at some point down the road, if there's an appetite for it. I mean, I imagine there'll definitely be an appetite for it. And I think MGM knows that. I'm sure MGM knows that if they were to do some kind of From spinoff, it would definitely be popular. So who knows? Just because the show's ending at 5, maybe it won't be the last time we see Fromville overall. Who knows? Maybe we'll see something happen.
Right. Yeah, it could be a Star Trek situation where they reinvent it with a new new cast and whatever. One thing I did like about MGM is they did at least greenlight season 5 and didn't make any. I think was the last season they did the thing where Boyd found the bottle tree and pulled out the note that said you've been renewed or whatever. This time, it was pretty obvious, and it should have, because this has got to be the flagship show on the network. Yeah. So I was glad that they didn't do the oh, will they or won't they? I don't know. Yeah, we know. Yeah, it's good. No, and again, it's a good commitment too. It says MGM's committed to it, and then the creatives behind the show can get right back to work, to get on with getting on. Yeah. And if nothing else, it shows that they have a lot of confidence in season 4. I imagine they've probably already seen season 4. They know what's coming, and they probably saw season 4 and maybe thought, okay, we're super confident. Let's greenlight season 5 now. You're planning that season 5 is going to be your final season. Let's just announce it, get it out of the way. And it looks like they're already beginning writing on season 5. Like, the writer's room is already open for season 5, and apparently they're going to be starting filming this summer. So that'll be potentially a little bit of a quicker turnaround between seasons 4 and 5 than we've gotten for any season prior, because they are planning on airing season 5 next year in 2027. So we might actually get just 1 year wait in between these 2 seasons instead of a year and a half, almost 2 years like we get sometimes, which is good. We might get this final season a little bit quicker, maybe. But yeah, it just shows that they have confidence in the show, and they know that we want to end it on season 5. Let's let everybody know right from the very beginning, this is the beginning of the end. 2 seasons left. Here it is. This is the ending of From. Strap in, because it's going to be wild. And I get it. It's part of the marketing, and I think it fits very well. I mean, we hear John Griffin saying this is very much the quote unquote the beginning of the end. From season 4 on is the beginning of the end. So it just makes sense. It fits with their whole strategy of winding the show up to its kind of climax, I guess you could say. But yeah, let's see what you guys are saying in the chat, though. We had some interesting stuff. And as Doug says, I agree. I think a lot of people maybe missed the significance of that brief Henry scene. I mean, I can understand how it might just come across as like a comedic scene, because it serves as some comedic relief as well. But yeah, there's definitely some deeper meaning there to it as well. And like this here, like Kayla says, I think Victor's trying to protect his dad, having him stay with him. He seemed uneasy about Sophia and the pastor coming in. And Victor always does seem a little bit uneasy when sometimes people come in. I mean, we saw how he reacted to Elgin, right? He was very suspicious of Elgin when Elgin first arrived. He was like, I don't trust him. Straight up, I don't trust him. And we saw what Elgin went on to do. Victor was fucking right. Victor was right not to trust Elgin. He was not trustworthy. Yes, he got manipulated, but he was still not trustworthy in the end. And you wonder if he's getting a similar feeling about this Sophia character. I mean, Victor seems to have good intuition. Again, maybe it's just a product of, his mind working a little bit different from being in this place for so long. Like, this place has molded his mind. I love the scene we get between Jade and Henry at the end of season 3, where Henry's coming up to Jade and he's trying to ask him, like, how do I get through to him? How do I understand him? And Jade gives him the perfect analogy. He's like,
he's Tarzan. He's the kid, he's the king of the jungle. And you're the one coming over here trying to make him feel bad that he doesn't know how to use a fork. And I thought that was a perfect analogy for Victor, where maybe even Henry was expecting him to be like a normal son, but he's not. Like, Victor has been shaped by this place. He's not normal. His mind works a little bit differently. So I loved that scene between Jade and Victor, because it's, Jade, once again, showing that he does have that emotional maturity deep down when he wants to. Like, it's not like Jade's just not emotionally intelligent. He very much is. So I thought that was a really good scene. And I think it gave Henry, the perspective that maybe he needed to hear, that, okay, this is my son. He's a little bit different. This place has shaped who he is. This place is a part of Victor at this point. And I need to take that into consideration when I'm trying to build a relationship with him. So yeah, when you see, Victor trying to, whisk the bed into his room, it's that act of, I want to protect this person who is my father that I just found.
Right. But the thing with Victor, it always keeps you off guard, because sometimes he just stands there looking like with a furrowed brow, looking weird anyway. So it doesn't always, there doesn't necessarily need to be significance behind it. He could be looking weird at the situation of a car crashing into the police station. It doesn't
weird in general.
It doesn't mean that it's like, oh my God, I sense something intuitively about, the pastor and Sophia. It could just be that he's like, or as you said, he's probably, he's seen the cycle as much as anybody. So and it's never a good thing when new people arrive, almost never. So, or when it's good, it's okay, and when it's bad, it's awful. So, I would probably not look all that forward to new people arriving.
Yeah. True. Maybe not.
The odds don't really pay off.
No, and again, we finally did get a head count in season 4. We've been wondering about how many people are in Fromville, and we've always kind of had that, that guesstimate anywhere between like 30 and 50 people, and it looks like it is right around there. We got 47 people in Fromville. I suppose after Jim gets killed, that makes it 46. But then again, we had Sophia arrive, which makes it kind of 47 again. So I guess just under 50 people, I guess we can say, are inside Fromville. And I thought that was a very interesting scene with Boyd at the beginning of the episode, when he first kind of sees Smiley come back to life, and he gets to the point where his brain realizes what that means, the significance of seeing Smiley again, and how that means that these things they can't be defeated. It does not matter. This was the one win. This was our one win that we had. And even that got taken away from us in this place. So I thought this was such a great scene where we're seeing Boyd really get as close to rock bottom as we've ever seen him before. I always like to bring up the end of season 1, the finale of season 1, after he gets bit by the spiders and we see like he's super weak. Like, that's like the weakest we've ever seen Boyd right there at the end of season 1, where he's, for a moment he almost gives up until Sarah kind of convinces him to keep going on. But he keeps going on. He finds that inner strength to keep going. I feel like the Boyd we're seeing right now is as close to is the closest that we've seen to him being like broken, or at least not having a whole lot of hope. I don't want to say broken, because I don't feel Boyd's ever going to truly break, but I do feel like he's getting to the point where he's feeling that hope start to slip away, I guess you could say, is a better way to put it. And when he sees Smiley come back to life like that, that's what that is for him. It's like, man, this was the one win. We had one win where I was actually able to kill one of these things, burn its body to ash. We were actually able to have one win. And then boom. And to see him react in this manner, to go right to the sheriff's station and to instantly go for the ammo and to instantly count, are there enough bullets for all of us in case it ever gets to the point where all we have is to choose how we live.
I know. That was super dark. Yeah, it went so dark so fast, which is very, very strange. I liked it. I mean, I liked going back all the way to the beginning when Kenny went down in that cellar. I was thinking, man, that was pretty brave just to grab a lantern and go down into this cellar.
And we thought he was going to. We saw those pictures of them of that behind the scenes little thing of Kenny and Boyd on the set that is the caves. So we had a feeling that maybe enough time has gone by and Kenny's like, shit, where the hell is Boyd? But you're right. He didn't hesitate. He grabbed that fucking lantern and Kenny goes right fucking down there after Boyd. So I got to hand it to Kenny. He's grown up a lot since
I would have at least hesitated because I'd be like, nah, man, maybe I was just sit up here and, wait for him to return. But now he went right down there. And they did. And that was a good setup for the little jump scare. And the thing is, I mean, it was cheap, but I liked it because when Boyd jumps out and puts his hand on Kenny, how Boyd was not visible to Kenny as Kenny was, moving back and forth and then magically appears behind him. I don't care, man. It was a good jump scare. It kind of set up, what we liked about the season before, the seasons before, the little exciting, the little palpitation of the heart when you get the jump scare. And I thought that was good. And then, right to the darkness of this scene. And I was like, well, this was a huge acceleration for Boyd. And I was like, is it really consistent? I was like, wow, that it's so weird that he's going straight to basically facilitating people's suicide and stuff. But it almost seemed to me like this was this one. There were a couple subtexts in this episode that they show you something, but what they're showing you isn't what they're showing you. This is one where you go back at the end of the season at the end of the series when everything, and you're like, okay, this is what they're saying. This one, it did seem a little heavy-handed that they were emphasizing 47. They said it so many times. 47. Really, 47. There were 47. We got the idea that 47 is now important. They did the same thing, and that's fine. I mean, the scene itself was good as a standalone, and it kind of meshed with another theme that I picked up on. And this was when Boyd broke down, when he finally broke down to Ellis. He's half of it's his own fault for being Mr. Fish and Lowe's, being everything to everyone, but he doesn't always. I mean, he never gets alone time. When you or I or anybody in the audience, when you have something heavy emotionally, yes, you should always share your feelings and talk. Yes, that's lovely, but sometimes you need to be alone and process this stuff.
Like we saw in season 1, that one moment of Boyd in the bathroom when he's about to have dinner with the Matthews family, where he takes that 1 second to just scream in the fucking mirror, and then boom, it cuts right to them having like a super silent, peaceful dinner, which is again one of the best transitions I've seen.
Yes, and that's exactly that's exactly it. He almost never gets a chance, and this time everybody's pulling on him, everybody's tugging on him. Boyd, what do we do? Boyd, what's the answer? Boyd, what next? And he just saw something just that he's trying to wrap his own brain around it, and he doesn't have the answer. And then again, I think we talked about it in between the seasons. He's getting people are demanding from him answers that he doesn't have.
Exactly.
And demanding decisions that he knows are going to alienate half of the people. No matter what decision he makes, he has to make a decision, but no matter what he does, it's going to make somebody extremely, upset.
It's no good. There's no good decisions. It's like, it's always the lesser of two evils. It's always like, okay, how do I choose between these two shitty decisions? It's not like he has like, oh, this is a great decision, this is a shitty decision. No, let's go with the shit decision. No, it's like these are both shit decisions. Which one is going to be less shitty is always the question he's faced with. And that's tough. It's hard to continuously lead under those circumstances. But I just wanted to touch on this real quick because Robert Saunders sent in a $10 super chat. Thank you so much, Robert Saunders. And that's right. I do remember that Robert and a few others in the Discord a while back, they were going over a lot of different stuff, and they were trying to count, going over all the scenes where we see like the town grouped. And I do vaguely remember them coming to that 47 number as well. So I can kind of like vaguely corroborate this. Robert says, searching the Discord, Vix, Bites, and my theories that 47 is the exact number of people in town. We worked really hard on the math years ago. At least we were right about one thing. And again, I do remember you guys diving super deep into that at and trying to find exactly how many people are in Fromville, which is why that 47 number did sound super familiar. Maybe that's why. But yeah, I remember you guys diving super deep into that. And that was a while ago. This was like during either season 2 or beginning of season 3. I think you guys were working on that. But I do remember that, Robert. I do remember that. Absolutely.
Yeah. And all the previous incarnations of 47, like on the CB radio,
all the different 47s
like,
we've seen on the show. Yeah.
Tilly with the 4 children and 7 grandchildren.
On the radio, where when Thomas's voice comes over the radio, we see 47 on the radio. And again, it's, I guess we're going to have to see, is there a deeper meaning to all of these 4s and 7s, or is it just one of those wink and nods to Stephen King, which I still kind of think it probably only is.
Oh, okay.
With that number being very close to him. But who knows? Maybe there's a deeper meaning to it. There could be. I mean, they are hitting us over the face with these 4s and 7s. So it is starting to kind of be like, okay, why are we seeing these numbers all the time? I don't know.
And I'm just saying it flat out and like repeatedly that many times in one scene, it was like, okay. Now, to me, it did seem forced. The other part of it, the other one that I did think was forced is they kept talking about when they kept talking about the smile, the monster stood up and it smiled. And I'm like, yes, I know. I mean, we do know it's Smiley. Yes, we established that it's the Smiley with the smile, but they're like, these things smile at you. These things smiled. And I'm like, you're kind of burying the lead, man. The smile is one thing, but the fact that this thing grew from a sack of whatever membrane to a full-grown creature, that arguably I would consider that to be more significant than the look on its face when it did. But it just seemed like, and I don't know what the significance to the rest of the story is that they said, they kept saying, I mean, it just seemed too many times when they reference the smile.
I think it's just meant to let us know as the audience that the smile in and of itself really gets to them. Something about the smile really gets them. Like, these things are dangerous and creepy in and of themselves. But just for me personally, what I got from that scene is that tells me that something about the smile in and of itself makes these creatures that much more unbearable to them. At least that's kind of how I was reading into it.
Okay.
Like
the only other little
annoying.
And some of it, and it's not even that these are bad things. These are just things that I noticed that seemed not even grating, but they just seem a little incongruous. Like they always say, the things in the woods, as like you would think after a certain amount of time they would have had a name for them or a shorthand. I mean, we have name for them.
Nickname for them, like like nightmare creatures. Like they were referred to as nightmare creatures, at least in like the script early on in the show.
Right.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
But that's
just
a quibble. Gifted membership.
Yeah, we have one more gifted membership from Katie Joe 9684. Thank you so much, Katie Joe, for gifting a membership. That is incredibly generous of you. And it looks like Irish Brisbane is the recipient of the membership. Welcome, Irish Brisbane, for becoming a member of the channel. And again, thank you so much, Katie Joe. Very much appreciate that. Very, very much appreciate that. Awesome stuff, guys. Thank you so much. Thank you. But yeah, I mean, it's just, again, really good start to the season, but I'm looking forward to seeing episode 2 in particular, because Harold Perrineau, of course, the actor who plays Boyd, he recently did an interview and they asked him which episode it was most memorable to you or something along those lines. And he says episode 2.
Really?
Episode 2, he said episode 2 really sets the tone for the rest of the season, was the answer that he gave. Now, this interview just came out, so I'm not quite sure if that's just to hype up episode 2 because it's, episode 2 is about to air. But I mean, Harold Perrineau's always been kind of cool about stuff like that. So when he says something like that, I tend to believe him. I tend to believe that episode 2, there's probably going to be something pretty interesting. Or again, he says episode 2 kind of sets the tone for the rest of the season, is what he said. So it seems like this next up and coming episode is going to be, again, that it piqued my interest. When I heard Harold Perrineau himself saying that definitely piqued my interest in terms of, okay, what exactly is going to happen in season 2 that's going to quote unquote set the tone for the rest of the season? What exactly are we going to get in this episode?
Right. It's weird. Because I did watch a 30-second trailer for episode 2, and it was Julie and Randall.
I have it here. I'm going to play it.
Okay. Yeah. 30 seconds is easy.
It's a quick 30 seconds, and it's pretty interesting. Again, it doesn't show a whole ton, but it shows enough. It shows at least enough that you get a little bit of a gist as to what episode 2 is going to look like. So yeah, let me pull that up here, and we will take a look at that. We will take a look at episode 2. All right, let's stop sharing this. Let's start sharing this. But yeah, I think just based on this trailer and based on some of the things we've seen in some of the episode synopsis that came out earlier, looks like we got some interesting things happening in episode 2, in particular with Julie kind of really beginning her journey on Storywalking. At least it seems like episode 2 is going to be the start of her experimenting with Storywalking. So I'm looking forward to seeing, what that leads to.
Yeah, and if you suddenly find out, if your brother tells you that you have magical power, you do have to practice it. I mean, it's like I know you still do it. I do it when you get bitten by a spider. You do try to jump to see if you've gotten powers rather than just a spider bite. Then you test them. Yeah. If you ever think that you've become Superman, try flying from the ground. Don't go to.
Try jumping off your bed before you jump off a building. Yeah, definitely. But Xavier reminds me, absolutely, glitter bomb for the new members. Absolutely, we owe the new members a glitter bomb. We get a glitter bomb request, we have to honor it. We can never say no to a glitter bomb. Something I need to be doing more of. Glitter bomb and a demonic Kool-Aid man for good measure. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And interesting stuff. We got some demonic Kool-Aid men coming in season 4. Cannot wait to see what that's all about. But yeah, without further ado, let's play this episode 2 trailer. Again, this is just the official teaser trailer for episode 2. That played at the end of episode 1 on the MGM channel. Now, a lot of people were asking me, like, oh, where do you get the trailers? Where do you get the trailers? Because unfortunately, they don't upload the trailers for the episodes on their social medias, or they don't upload them online until like a day or 2 before the episode premieres. So if you want to catch the trailers, I mean, you can always catch them here on this channel. I'll be uploading them every week like I do every other season. But if you want to catch the trailers live, you actually have to watch the actual show Sunday nights when it premieres on the actual MGM TV channel, not the app, not the streaming service, not through Amazon, none of that. You have to watch it on the actual MGM TV channel. That is the only place they play the trailer. Which again, I have to screen record it just to get it to do videos on it and to upload it so people can see it. But I'll have them on the channel every week, so you guys can always kind of find them here. But if you were wondering where I get them from or where to find them, that's the only place they play them, on the actual TV channel, MGM. It's not on the app. It's not on the streaming service. Yeah, I don't know why they do it that way. But
fucking useless, man. Amazon's terrible. They don't even have the episode 2 trailer for on Amazon as of earlier tonight.
They don't have it anywhere.
Yeah, it's like, you guys.
It's not anywhere. It's only right here. This is the one place you can see it, right here. But no, that's why it's just one of the many reasons why I do it. I've always enjoyed doing trailer breakdowns. I like breaking down the trailer. I've always enjoyed breaking trailers down for the next episode just to kind of see, it's just fun. But it also serves the purpose where people can at least see the episode trailers here if they can't find them anywhere else. You can always at least find them here. But yeah, without further ado, here is the trailer for episode 2, which is titled Fray. Now, as soon as I hear that title, Fray, it instantly reminds me, we talked about this in the past when the episode titles first leaked, but it kind of reminds you of that line we got from Father Cautry in season 1 when he's talking to Boyd, and he's like, the edges are beginning to fray. Like, this place is beginning to fall apart. Now the place is really beginning to fray. And I get a feeling that is probably what the episode title is referring to in episode 2. The beginning of this place really beginning to fray. But we'll see. All right, here we go.
I need you to come back to the ruins with me. Why? Because I'm going to save him.
You just walk inside, and then what? What if people find out what you did? What we did? That's the kind of thing that could tear this place apart.
Motel sign. What's in the bag? There it is. What's in the bag? So it looks like we have the infamous motel sign hanging bag episode coming in episode 2. That scene coming, excuse me, in episode 2. Before we dive in a little bit further, we also got, holy cow, 5 gifted memberships from Katrina Marie. Wow. Thank you so much, Katrina Marie, for the gift of the 5 memberships. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 new members. Welcome one, welcome all. Yeah, well, it looks like Robert Saunders received one, PM received one, Ravener received one, Michael DJ received one, and Kayla received one as well. Welcome to each and every one of you. And it looks like you also gifted one in return, Ravener.
I can't with good conscience, be the co-host and get one. So yeah, this one, the one going to Ashley Simone. Awesome. That one also is credited to
Katrina.
Katrina. Yes.
Got you. Well, thank you so much for that. It's incredibly generous of you as well, my friend. But thank you so much, Katrina Marie, 420. Very, very much appreciate that. We definitely owe a glitter bomb and a whoa to that. That's whoa worthy.
Absolutely.
Whoa, indeed.
Whoa! And the hits keep on coming.
Awesome stuff. What's that?
The hits keep on coming. Robert Saunders.
The hits just keep on coming. Oh, it looks like we got Robert Saunders, who has also just gifted a membership. Wow, thank you so much, guys. Oh, hold on, wait. Thank you guys so much. That is incredibly generous of you. Wow. You guys have always been super supportive of the channel, and it really does mean the world to me. I cannot thank each and every one of you enough. Thank you, Robert, for the gift of the 1 membership. And it looks like Leah Golson is the recipient of the latest membership. So thank you so much, Robert. Thank you so much, my friend. A glitter bomb for you.
Avail yourselves of all the emojis, and the members only stream will be cool. It'll be cool. I'm always a huge advocate of people joining into the panel, even if you're not comfortable speaking publicly, because we've done that on Discord many a time where people are nervous or they're not sure. Man, do it. Give it a try. It's fun. It's easy. You're not expected to do a 2-hour soliloquy. If you have a question, just ask a question, and then we'll talk to you
for 5 minutes.
It'll be a discussion. A lot of people have overcome their trepidation about speaking, and realistically, think about it. It's like, are you really speaking to hundreds of people? Maybe, but you're kind of just speaking to a couple people. A couple people on the panel. You're in the room. Hey. It's like we're all sitting on. I've talked about this before. It's like we're all sitting on the couch, just jawing about whatever.
Just jawing about whatever.
So what do you think about that? Do you think, man? What do you think? Do you think Sophia? She doesn't look like she's 15. No, she does not look like. When I saw Sophia, I did not think she was.
Holy
15.
cow! We got. Oh my god! We got another 5 memberships that have just been gifted from Katrina Marie again. Holy cow! Thank you so much. Wow, that's incredibly generous of you guys. You guys have, I'm speechless. I'm at a loss for words. That does not happen to me very often. Thank you so much. Wow, thank you so much for the gift of another 5 memberships. That is awesome. Looks like Captain Shriver's now a member. Sunflower's now a member. Eric Munson's now a member. Dennis is now a member, and FS Jr. is also now a member. Welcome one, welcome all. So glad to have each and every one of you here. And of course, anyone who's a member, you have access to all of the custom Fromville emojis, and I will be putting out some member-only content on the channel. I think I'm going to do some member-only videos, like some people do on Patreon. I have been getting requests to set up a Patreon. I'll probably do that at some point too. Maybe put some exclusive content on that. It's just never something I really kind of considered. But if nothing else, I am definitely going to do some members only content where it'll be some exclusive, interesting videos and stuff. just a way of saying thank you to each and every one of the members who have supported the channel for like Kiwi's been a member for 33 months. That's incredibly insane. I cannot thank her enough. But yeah, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much, Katrina Marie. Another glitter bomb coming your way, my friend. And thank you guys. Thank you so much for all the support you guys have shown the channel over the years. It really does mean the world to us.
It's very kind. Yeah.
Super kind. Super kind. We really do have the best chat in the world. Not just us, but like the From fandom in general. It really is the coolest fandom I've ever been a part of, and met so many cool people through this fandom. And super grateful for that. I really am.
Yeah, a little more laid back than the Game of Thrones.
A little more laid back than the Game of Thrones fandom. The Game of Thrones fandom is known for being a little cutthroat, a little savage, a little
intense,
a little mean, I guess you could say. The From fandom is much more. It's much more of a community, I guess you could say.
Yeah. Because we are kind of groping in the dark. We're just like, what in the hell is going? I don't think anybody knows. I'm wondering what Harold. I mean, I wonder if Harold Perrineau was really just hyping up episode 2, or maybe there's something more.
Maybe.
I was hoping that there's something more in the when he's talking about the cover up. I think there's got to be more meat on that bone, and I think that'll be an interesting scene. The Julie in the woods, and I don't even want to pretend that it ain't Julie because it's Julie being attacked by the monster. It's the curse of time travel. It's just like the curse of the multiverse of who gives a shit, like Marvel. Once you take away peril, I mean, once all the peril's fake peril, it doesn't matter. She ain't gonna die.
Danger doesn't become danger anymore. Like when there's too much plot armor, it takes away. It takes the feeling away. You just, like you said, going into every Marvel movie, most of them anyway, you go into it knowing the hero is going to be fine. You just know it's going to be fine. Even in Infinity War, when half of the existence got snapped, when half of the freaking existence got snapped out of reality, even when that happened, I knew in the back of my head, they're going to be back. Like, it's okay. It's not permanent. And of course they come back. It's just, it takes away the stakes when there's too much plot armor. And I am hoping that now that we are at the beginning of the end, we're going to see the plot armor start to get thinner and thinner.
Yeah. And I mean, I think, she will get her scratch on the face. Maybe the monster will cut her hair with those giant fingers, because I know future Julie has a shorter hair that's black, the darker hair that's shorter. Maybe those giant fingers cut her hair off. Can't do any worse than Marielle did, realistically, as far as her hair cutting. But the cover up, I think there's going to be more, and then the hanging bag, they're leaning heavily on that hanging bag as something scary or whatever. What is in it? I think I mean, there's been some guesses and some pretty good solid guesses as to what's in it, but I didn't think, I mean, this looked like another episode that it was going to be good. It's going to move the things forward, but I didn't anticipate anything earth-shaking coming from this one.
Being the episode that sets the tone.
So unless it's in that discussion scene where Boyd is talking about the cover up, and I was always wondering, I mean, that's something I was very curious about. How are they going to do that? Because in the trailer for the season, Boyd's like, when Elgin's saying, the truth's got to come out or something, and Boyd says, I'm going to make sure it doesn't. That's got to be that scene. A fraction of that scene. So I think, they're probably going to sit down and have a chinwag about how exactly are they going to cover up what has gone on with Elgin. What Elgin did and what happened to Elgin via Sarah, which is crazy. I did love that. That was another one on my good on the good list, that gross out with the Elgin's eye being stitched up.
Oh man, the practical effects were so good. I mean, they looked practical anyway. I mean, it certainly didn't look, I mean, yes, there's always an element of maybe some digital, but that looked like a pretty good practical effect in terms of her stitching the fucking eyeball shut. That was so good.
Gross out. And love Donna's line, Sarah took his eye out with a screwdriver. She had reasons.
She had reasons.
That's all she said. Yeah, she had reasons. Like, all right.
Hilarious. But I do want to hear from you guys, though, from in the chat, and you as well, Ravener. What do you guys think is going to be in this bag ultimately? Again, like you said, there's been a lot of theories going around as to what exactly is hanging from the motel sign. Now, I mean, if you've seen some of the streams or videos that we've done on the channel, I think you've probably seen the image that we found and that others have found as well. Of what seems to almost look like one of the animals inside a bag that looks an awful lot like this laying on the ground. Almost like it looks like after the bag was cut down, maybe. Unless it's a different bag, unless that's a separate second bag that just happens to be near it, who knows? But it looks like there could be a possibility that there might be either one of the dogs or one of the goats in one of these bags, at least just based on that one image that we saw that looks an awful lot like a furry animal, very much you can see the fur. Looks like an animal inside a bag that looks an awful lot like this laying on the ground. But again, being how these trailers can be very sleight of hand and it can make it seem like one thing's happening when something else is really happening. You never know. Could there be two bags for all we know? But if there's only one bag, if that bag we saw on the ground was indeed this one that got cut down, it looks like there might just be an animal in this bag. But who knows? Maybe there's more in there. I mean, could there potentially, like 34 Songstress asks, is there a possibility that Jim's head is maybe in the bag? Maybe we're not going to find Jim in one spot. And I think David Eigel talked a little bit about this as well in one of our previous streams about Jim being discovered in like an Oedipus manner, with like parts of him just being discovered all over town, which could be super fucking gruesome if that's the case. But no, I don't know. I guess I'd love to hear what you guys think in the chat, and you as well, Raymond. What do you think is going to be in this bag ultimately, guys? What do you think is in there? Could parts of Jim be in there, or is it just an animal?
I think Jim is intact. I think it's pretty sure that it's an animal. Now, what I'm not sure of, we don't know that there might not be a bag hanging off of every post on the street. It might be like Christmas ornaments.
Could there be more than one bag? Yeah, with more than one thing.
Yeah. So it might be the dogs, it might be the goats, it might be all of the above. Don't think it's Jim though. And I think that part of that got spoiled in one of was it the promo or something? I don't even want to spoil it, but I think Jim is intact at least. I don't even know when they're going to discover Jim. At what point? Clear. I don't think, it seems to me, if they're putting all the spooky emphasis on this for episode 2, I don't even know that they're going to find Jim by episode 2. He still might be out there.
Yeah, good point. When exactly, again, we as the audience, we know Jim's dead. We saw what happened to him. But yeah, where exactly did his body go? Did the man in yellow leave his body there? Did the man in yellow put his body somewhere else? Are we going to discover Jim in some horrific manner? There's been a lot of theories that people think that Jim's body is going to be discovered in the barn. That may be, when we see that one shot of Tabitha opening up the barn and then just being super devastated, is her opening up the barn to find Jim hanging inside of it. And I thought that could be a very interesting reveal. Like if Jim is hanging in the barn, I hope he's hanging upside down, if anything else. Like you can kind of harken back to that foreshadowing we got at the very beginning of the series, when she kind of first has her first vision of the lighthouse. She walks up to the top and sees Jim hanging upside down. That could be that maybe that was an interesting foreshadowing of Tabitha finding Jim's body strung up in the barn. Maybe, I don't know, but it seems like a lot of, just based on the comments I've been getting, it seems like a lot of people think Jim's body might be in the barn.
That actually kind of makes more sense, because again, we have to put ourselves in the shoes of the characters. He's right now, it's still that same night. So and even Tabitha, I did like how, and I'm not really liking the entire Matthews family at all, at least for episode 1. But the one thing that they made sense of was, hey, he's not home, but maybe he went to the RV. Maybe he got caught by, maybe it got darker faster than he thought. Maybe he went to the RV. He could be up at Colony House for all they know, which is realistic. They're kind of like, okay, so
they're hoping that he found safety somewhere.
Yeah, we're still in that same night, and of course Sophia is still, she killed the preacher at that same night. So the next morning, that will be when you're like, hey, that will be when Tabitha.
It looks like this scene is the next morning right here.
And if they're looking for Jim, they're going to say, okay, did he go to all of these places that we thought he might have gone? And then they'll go looking for him. What'll become weirder, I mean, it's like, hey, did Jim go up to Colony House? No, Jim, we haven't seen him since before. Okay, well, did he go to the RV? Let's take a little trip out to the RV, because we know that Cannibal Village is more like a full day trip. It isn't like you can jaunt out and back.
Yeah, and we also know from the season 4 trailer that at least Ethan goes to the RV. We see one shot of Ethan, at the RV, and he runs into Jim's arms and hugs Jim. Obviously, it's probably not really Jim. It's most likely the man in yellow, maybe disguised as Jim. But yeah, something prompts Ethan to go to the RV to look, at least. So yeah, I mean, again, I always thought it's going to be very interesting to see how are they ultimately going to reveal Jim's body, to the characters.
Right. And that, I mean, that'll be a huge turning point. And just the realization that was going to happen. Seeing that scene where Ethan runs into Jim's arms is like, okay, so now the man in yellow isn't just, he can turn into whatever if he has the clothing that it makes it plausible. I mean, if he's wearing Jim's clothes, people are not going to think, oh, this is a doppelganger or a shapeshifter. It's probably Dad, Ethan will think that. So it'll be interesting, and then it also begs the question, how many other people can he be or will he be in this season, and how many people has he been in the past, which shook my especially the 78 massacre theory. We could probably get into that later. I don't even know if it's a spoiler. I don't think it is. My theories are never spoilers because I don't know shit. That's how I answer.
Yeah, well, none of us do, and that's what's fun about the show. I mean, there's a lot of good theories out there, and some of them that are supported with some pretty good evidence and stuff. But at the end of the day, we don't really know. Like in terms of 100% knowing, none of us do. None of us know what's coming, unless you've seen it already, I guess. But
what's the chat saying?
That's what makes the show fun, is not truly knowing what's coming around the corner.
Yeah. I'm in that blissful state of ignorance about anything.
Yeah. And Robert Saunders for another 10 also brings up a good point as well. That's right. If you look back at every episode 2 in each season, they discover something. They are in town with the monsters in season 1. Jim's alive and crushed in the house in season 2. Tien's Jeff in season 3. And yeah, maybe discovering Jim's body in season 4 will be that big oh shit moment that episode 2 that happens in episode 2 and then kind of sets the tone. Maybe that's what Harold Perrineau was referring to when he says something happens in episode 2 that sets the tone going forward. I think discovering Jim's death, and even more importantly, discovering Jim's death in such a brutal and gruesome manner, I think that could very much qualify for a pretty big event that's tone setting for the rest of the season, because it raises the stakes. It tells us as the audience, but it also tells the characters as well that nobody's safe. Not even main characters like Jim are safe, and Jim very much was a main character. So no, again, Robert, you look back at a lot of the episode 2s, we've had some pretty interesting moments in some of the episode 2s. So yeah, I think that would fit. I mean, I think it would be a good time for them to find Jim's body.
Yeah,
I mean, I guess
very plausible.
Well, the thing is, I don't want them to drag it out too much. Like, we as the audience, we know Jim's dead. So it's really just a matter of when are our characters going to find that out. One thing I was actually very pleased with is that they didn't really drag out the Man in Yellow big reveal. At the end of episode 1, we already knew, full well that the Man in Yellow had turned into Sophia. Because I was worried that was something that they would maybe drag out for a little bit and then reveal later on. So I guess I'm wondering the same thing with Jim's body. We already know he's dead. It's just a matter of our characters finding out. That's something that they could have really dragged out, really, really dragged out. But I'm hoping they don't. I am hoping that by the time episode 2 ends, everybody already knows that Jim's dead, because you don't want to drag these things too out. Again, we are at the beginning of the end. There's only 2 seasons left, so you don't want to drag things out too much. You want to get that reveal. You want to, you want our characters to see that Jim's dead, to raise the stakes and really set up the danger bar going forward. So yeah, maybe episode 2 is when they find Jim.
I could see that being like the shock ending. I mean, I could see them doing search parties, trying to find him far and wide, and then he's in the barn the whole time. One of those things. He was never was. He never was.
Someone said something interesting. in the comment section, and it made me think of our conversation that we had a few streams ago. You remember how we were talking about how Jim's body might just be digitally removed from that trailer, and then when the actual episode plays, his body might be right there? We were 100% spot on. That's exactly what happened. The body was digitally removed. So someone also had an interesting idea that maybe Jim's body was also digitally removed for the trailer in the barn. Maybe when we open the barn door and we see the writing on the barn door, knowledge comes at a cost. Maybe Jim's body is hanging right there, and they just digitally removed it for that trailer as well. That was, somebody had that comment. So I thought, oh, that's a pretty interesting idea. Maybe Jim's body is in the barn.
Yeah. Remove the body. They needed the black background for the yellow text and stuff. And yeah, that would make perfect sense. I mean, I could believe it. Or there might have been, because like the way they staged the bodies, like they did with Tien Chen and stuff, and the way the monsters mutilate and spread the viscera and stuff around. Just getting rid of that would. That sounds very plausible. I would not be surprised if that were the case.
Yeah. And, as Cody brings up here as well, I mean, they can't have him missing for too long, right? And I agree with that. I mean, they can't drag, at least I imagine anyway, that they won't drag this out too long.
Right.
So
but the thing is, if somebody's missing, somebody doesn't come home at night, you do go looking for them right away. I mean, we're past the point. I think in the town, the people are past the point of, other than Tabitha, you just sit and wait. We'll wait for a week or so. She'll be fine. I'm sure she'll come back.
I'm sure she'll be back. It's not like there's monsters that come out at night and completely fucking torture us to death or anything. Jim will totally be fine. Yeah, I have to imagine there's going to be a sense of urgency to find Jim, especially again. At the end, even in episode 1, we see the sun's going down. Jim doesn't show up. So by the time the next morning comes around, I have to imagine a big sense of urgency is going to set in, not just for the Matthews family, but for Boyd as well. We got to find Jim.
Yeah.
I'm hoping
because Ethan ain't going to shut up about it. Ethan will not stop bothering Tabitha about it. It's like we got to go find Dad. Where's Dad? And you can't not go looking for the dad that was supposed to be that left before she did for home and didn't get there home at all.
You can't just they're not just going to forget about him, that's for sure. But thank you so much, Robert. Very much appreciate it. We got 2 more as well. We got 279. I feel like season 4 will be the answer season, and I do too. I mean, and we've been saying this for a little while. It just feels like, just getting the feeling anyway, that season 4 is going to be the quote unquote, the season that we've been waiting for. This is the season that's going to pay a lot of this stuff off. This is the season where we're finally going to get a lot of these kind of things coming full circle. Answers, plot progression, finding out a little bit more about what Fromville really is, why they're really here, what saving the children really means. What really happened during the sacrifice. Like, there's still some really big things that we need some answers to. Will we get all the answers this season? No, of course not. There's still one more season to go after this. But I do very much feel like this is going to be the season we've been waiting for in terms of finally starting to get those definitive answers. But I think it's going to be a really good one.
And I think, getting those answers is going to be the key to fighting back. Because again, we got an awesome villain that can do awesome things. We know what powers he has, but now we need to know the weaknesses. And
now we need the weaknesses. Exactly.
Yeah, Superman has to have a weakness. Everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. And we also got another one. There's a theory that the man in yellow is Ethan. That's true. I mean, there is a theory going around that is one of the theories that I've seen pop up quite a few times in some of our comment sections and stuff, where some people think, everybody's been trying to guess who the man in yellow is, and if the man in yellow is a future version of one of our current characters. I mean, a lot of people think it might be Ethan. A lot of people think it's Randall. There's a lot of theories going around out there that Randall is the man in yellow. I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, who knows? I tend to think that the man in yellow is his own thing. He's his own entity, and he's not like a future version of any of our characters. If he is this ancient old being that facilitated this original kind of deal in the first place, if the man in yellow is what the parents made the deal with for immortality, And that tells me this thing is very old and very ancient. And we've already heard Tabitha say in episode 1, what's more believable, that this place is messing with our head, or that we've been getting reincarnated for centuries? She says centuries. So that does give us the confirmation that this is centuries old, because we never really got that full confirmation as to just exactly how old this is. Yes, we get a lot of hints with some of those dates in the lighthouse and some of the other aspects in the show, but it was nice to kind of hear it said out loud. Like, no, definitively, this has been happening for centuries. So that tells me that this man in yellow, if he's the one that facilitated this deal, he's something else. He's not human, I don't think. So I tend to think that he's not any of our characters. But you never know. I mean, with the introduction of Julie's story walking and time travel being kind of introduced, you really, you've kind of kicked open the door for almost anything to be possible. And that's why I'm not like the hugest fan of time travel being introduced into the show. But who knows? I mean, again, we have no idea what's coming. So the man in yellow being one of our characters, or a future version of one of our characters, that one of our characters turns into the man in yellow at some point, that's very much a possibility.
Yeah, I was still on the fence, because when I saw him when he dug out the suitcase and opened it up, it was almost like he was surprised by what he saw. It was like, oh, ha ha ha. And it almost seemed to me like
he kind of looked happy, like he was like happy to see it. Like maybe he was like, I get what you mean. Like he was happy, like he had that happy laugh, like maybe he wasn't sure what was going to be in there. I see what you mean. I see what you mean.
I mean, the same way like the kimono woman was a purpose-built creature, but other people couldn't see her, but Elgin could see her. She was a purpose-built character for Elgin. It kind of like occurred to me that maybe the man in yellow is a purpose-built villain. Now there still is a bigger bad, like the whole Fromville. I mean, the whole whatever it is, a pocket universe or whatever it is the big bad, and he is an agent of that. And he's, if there were a hierarchy, maybe he's above the regular monsters because he can move about in the day and shapeshift and stuff. But he's still a purpose-built creature to fulfill a role at a certain point in the cycle. So he may have genuinely been surprised when he opened the suitcase of what he's going to end up shape-shifting into. It's like, oh, I'm going to turn into a girl with glasses and penny loafers or whatever. I thought, I got the sense, and it may have just been the way Doug played it, but it seemed to me like he was genuinely surprised and almost like this gleeful delight that he gets to be something so diametrically opposite from what he looked like, with the rotted teeth and the suit and the whole nine. Now he's going to be a young girl. I think he gets a perverse glee from assuming the forms of different things. But now the question is, but that put the whole thing of, is the man in yellow, yes, is he the boogeyman, the big bad, or is he just another agent and the whole town is the big bad? Because I still thought that there's that was an unknown element. I mean, I got the sense that he did not know what was in the suitcase. Now, I mean, it could have been that he knew what was in the suitcase and he was just happy to see it again.
He might have just been happy to see it, yeah.
But I didn't get that, because all that stuff would have had to been under that leaf litter for who knows how long or whatever. And plus, and that also led to, when did he wear it before? And is that why, does that mean that Victor's going to recognize it? And it leads to all those other questions and whatnot. But for me, I just in my own headcanon, I thought, okay, maybe it was really the suitcase was a mystery box for the man in yellow. He pops it open, doesn't know what he's going to find, and then he gets to turn into whatever the situation calls for. It's going to be very interesting to see. Now, the first thing that Jen said when we watched it, it was like, oh, she looks old. She did not look to me like 15 or 16 tops. And when Boyd had to literally say it out loud. I didn't get the sense that it was weird that she was saying daddy, daddy all the time, but I did not get the sense that she was just this little 15-year-old. And I thought it was kind of like off-putting the way she was acting, until they said that she was supposed to be 15 or 16. But I didn't see that as a match as for that character. Did anybody else feel that way? Yeah, thank you, Miss. Whenever I say something like this, I was like, am I the only one in the world that feels this way? But thank you, Michelle.
Well, I think, I think, and I think from sometimes they just, sometimes they cast older actors to play younger actors, and sometimes it fits, and maybe sometimes it doesn't. I mean, she does look like she's a little older than 16, but I don't know. I mean, when I see her, I mean, she did kind of look like, once you find out who she is or who she's pretending to be, the whole, her kind of freaking out makes a little bit more sense in terms of like the cover that she's trying to play. Now, for me, I think the way that she's playing it is the interesting thing, because it's almost like she's overplaying her hand, like pretending to be someone that she's not. This is clearly the man in yellow. The man in yellow is pretending to be this poor girl that just lost her dad. But the way that she's playing it is like so over the top that I think it's going to get to a point where our residents are going to start to notice red flags about her. I think they're going to start to pick up on that. Okay, this Sophia character is not who she says she is. What she's saying she is and what we're seeing is not lining up with the truth. So I think with her kind of playing it so over the top, I almost feel like that's on purpose. So to give our residents, something to go on, something to kind of hone in on at some point, where they start recognizing these small little inconsistencies, these small little red flags that tell them, okay, this girl is not who she says she is.
Yeah, Makita's saying she's over the top, and I think that is true. Like, she's overdoing
a little over the top. It was a little over the top, yeah.
And I thought maybe, I mean, and the thing is that when you're somebody new in a town like that, in a situation like that, because you always got to apply, you got to project yourself into that situation. You're like, well, if somebody new comes in, they're going to make rookie mistakes. They're going to misunderstand things. So I think you will get a lot of leeway, especially if you portray yourself as a young girl, innocent, a naive babe in the woods kind of situation.
Just lost her dad. They're going to be sympathetic to her because she just lost her father. So it is the perfect cover.
Yeah, they'll cut her a lot of slack, and that's going to open up. So what do you think she'll do? I mean, I think it's on, it's written in neon sign that she's going to mess with the talisman. But you could do a lot of little subtle shit. I mean, especially a girl like that, you could pass generally unnoticed, kind of. You could kind of like blend into the scenery, and you could do little stuff like, unlock a window and leave it slightly ajar. Just like, I mean, all the stuff we've seen happen before. Like what happened at Colony House, just leave the window a little bit ajar, and that's all they need to do. She might be able, or like Sarah did, just leave the door unlocked and take the talisman down. And it doesn't have to be huge. It doesn't have to be grandiose. It could just be a little subtle situation.
One little scene of her grabbing a talisman, and a lot of people have been predicting that she's going to mess with the talismans in some manner.
Okay. Now, so that thing where she was with Kenny then and getting the full explanation, the breakdown of how the town works and stuff, that was basically a setup. When she grabbed the talisman and he's like, no, it has to stay hanging. It only works.
It seemed very poignant. It seemed like, okay, that was very specific. Yeah. Almost like we're going to be coming back to this and she's going to grab one of these talismans. Yeah. I feel like it's inevitable at this point.
The thing is, if you're passing around through the town and everybody's going about their daily lives or whatever, I think it would be very easy to kind of, it's almost like shoplifting or something, as like when you could pass through and you like just slip, something like, you're at a restaurant and you pick up somebody left $1 tip on the table and you just pass by and just grab the dollar, that kind of stuff. I mean, you can do a lot of little shit before you get caught and called out on it. I've never actually done that, but I know it.
No, I don't think. No, I'm not saying.
It makes perfect.
I know what you mean. Like she can maybe swipe a talisman and it might not get noticed right away. Yeah.
Right.
I get it. Yeah.
Let's see,
let me get through these real quick. Yeah, we got a couple more super chats coming in. We got From Downtown for $20. Wow, thank you so much, From Downtown. And while we're on the subject of Kenny and Sophia, From Downtown says the scene with Kenny and Sophia outside. If you look at the corner of the building, you can see a monster coming. Yes, I do. I remember that. I remember the scene you mean. I want to see the interaction between Sophia and the monster. If the monster recognizes it's the man in yellow, Kenny is done. Yeah, I mean, we do see that scene, right? We see the season 4 trailer. We see that one shot of Sophia and Kenny outside of Colony House at night. And it almost looks like Kenny's trying to like convince her, hey, we got to go. We got to go. It looks like it's something along those lines. And then, yes, we see a monster coming around the corner. I don't know. I'm really hoping that Kenny will survive this interaction and that, you know, they'll get out of there just in case, because I imagine Sophia's probably going to want to keep her cover intact as well. So I get the feeling when we see that scene, it's probably going to be one of those like really close call type scenes, but they'll get out of it. At least that's what I'm hoping. Especially when we get that, we got something interesting from Ricky He, the actor who plays Kenny, the other day. There was this little kind of promotional clip that from the official From account released on, they released it on X, on Instagram, on all their social media accounts. And it's the actors talking about some of their favorite, you know, big moments from season 4, but they blank a lot of it out because they don't want us to be spoiled. But some of it isn't blanked out, so you can hear certain words. And if you can kind of, you know, read between the lines, you can put together a little bit of what they're talking about. And Kenny's segment is very interesting because it kind of it's him kind of describing something that happens with those 2 machetes at some point. We saw the promo where he was kind of sliding down the banister of Colony House with these 2 machetes in his hand, and we were wondering, holy shit, is Kenny going to be using these 2 machetes at some point in season 4? And it looks like he is, just based on that little promo thing that they released. It looks like Kenny has some kind of interaction with, I don't know if it's one of the monsters or something else, where he uses these machetes on something. So I'm wondering if this maybe could be the scene. Maybe this could, you know, the scene of Sophia and Kenny outside could potentially be the scene that leads into Kenny maybe using the machetes on one of the monsters, maybe. But I'm looking forward to it either way. It looks like we are going to get some Kenny machete action in season 4.
Nice, good. That'll be interesting. Yeah, if the monster recognizes the man in yellow, the same way you know, we've seen it in the RV. We've seen it. You know, the monsters, when something that outranks them is around, it tends to stand down. They stand down. Which is, that's a good point. Will they, I mean, do the monsters know that the man in yellow has turned into Sophia? Like, do the monsters, like when they see Sophia, do the monsters instantly know that's the man in yellow? Or do they not know? I guess is the question. I get the feeling, I imagine they must know, right? Like, I imagine as soon as they see her, they must know instantly, okay, this is the man in yellow. And that's going to be an interesting thing to hopefully get revealed at one point. What kind of relationship does the man in yellow have with the monsters? You know, does he have control over them? Is he the one that, you know, controls them and tells them what to do? Is there a relationship there, or are they just 2 separate entities that happen to occupy the same place? So that's something I hope that they explore a little bit more. What exactly is the hierarchy in Fromville, or is there even a hierarchy in Fromville, or is it just a free-for-all of all of these different monsters and entities? Right, but the kimono lady took a physical form, and I guess she wasn't really like, she didn't like outrank the monsters or anything, but she was able to pass.
Seemed like she was a helper
pass among them. It
seemed like she was just a supernatural nursemaid. Really, that's kind of all she was.
Which to me like reinforces, like, I mean, because I have that like whatever, the bias or whatever. Like, okay, well, so she might have been purpose built for that. And then that leads me right back to the man in yellow being purpose built for infiltrating and stuff. I guess I don't know if I want to go too far on that, because it is derived from the promo, not the trailer, but the promo. And the promo was pretty spoilery. Are we going to avoid that?
I don't really want to get too deep into it, just in case people don't really want to. I mean, it is an official promo that was released by MGM before episode 1 premiered, but it does reveal some pretty big things that are going to be happening in season 4. It's only like 10 seconds long, but I wasn't planning on touching on it here on this stream, just in case people don't want to see it. I imagine there's probably people. I mean, for those of you that do want to see it, you can see it on my channel. If you go and look at the latest video that I uploaded, that is a video breaking down the latest promo. I mean, there's plenty of spoiler warnings and stuff. But I don't really want to discuss it here on a live stream, just in case there's people here in the chat that don't want to see those pretty big things. But if you do want to see those things, like I said, you can go right to the latest video that I did. You can see the whole clip in that video. I played. It's only like a 10-second clip, but I played the whole clip in the video, and I break down some of the scenes. And if you want to discuss that stuff with others, there is a spoiler central section in our Discord that is meant for more spoiler filled topics that you guys can go in there and talk about any kind of stuff that you want, where the rest of the Discord is kind of spoiler free for people who don't want to see that stuff.
And there are a lot of people that are
there's again, from what I mean, some people don't want to see it and some people do, and that's totally fine. But I at least want to give people the option. So I don't want to get into that on this stream. So again, just for people in the chat that don't want to see that, but for those of you that do want to see it, you can see it in that latest video. Just check out the latest video I did. It's literally the latest video that I've done on the channel. And you'll be able to see the new 10-second promo that MGM released that shows some pretty big things and what I think they mean for the show.
Yeah, and that's the other thing is a lot of them are like little very quick edits in between, and there's a lot to derive, but again, like most theories, I mean, the only theories that I care about are the ones that actually have basis in what the show is showing us. And a lot of these things you can look at and extrapolate. Okay, this happened, this happened, this happened. So
but in terms of like addressing the super chat we got, I at least want to address the second part of it in terms of, because this is an interesting theory. Could the man in yellow potentially be could the man in yellow be to blame as to why Victor doesn't remember things? Like, is the man in yellow maybe blocking Victor's memory in some way? Sunflower asks. And I think that's a very interesting concept. Again, we all just assume that Victor's memory, that he lost his memory just due to trauma, just based on, the traumatic things that he's had to experience. I mean, that is something that a human brain will do. That's not something that is outside of the norm. When a human brain experiences enough trauma, sometimes your brain will delete those memories as a form of self-defense. It's a defense mechanism to protect yourself. So when we see that Victor's memories are all gone, I think a lot of us assume that it's probably that, like it's the trauma. He's experienced so much trauma that his subconscious has forgotten some of these things just so he can survive. But there's also a possibility that maybe there's a little bit more to it. Is there some kind of aspect of Fromville that is erasing his memories, that is suppressing his memories because they don't want him to remember certain things? And could the man in yellow be the one suppressing those memories? So I think it's an interesting theory, if nothing else.
Yeah, like an external interference in addition to his own, and that might have been why he reverted to drawing. So he sees, because he said, so I can remember. Yeah, because otherwise it would be gone if he didn't.
Yeah, maybe. But thank you guys so much for the super chats. I also owe you some glitter bombs. Boom, boom, glitter bombs.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, good questions and comments.
Good questions, really good. Again, the chat always just amazes me with the stuff that you guys that you come up with, the questions and the theories that you guys come up with. You guys, again, it's always fun discussing this stuff. I feel like I learn something new every stream. But yeah. Like it. Let's see what else.
The one I wanted to point out with the other scene, I only have a few more notes left. Kind of, I have like inane stuff that like Kenny's gun belt. Boyd's gun belt goes through his belt loops, and his gun is on his hip. Kenny's is like gunfighter style. It's not on his belt. Doesn't go through gun belt.
He's in the left.
Yeah,
Kenny's in the left,
which I thought was funny. The prayer scene, this was a very interesting one for me, and I know people were all deriving different takeaways from that one, and I would have, that would be one where other than Doug and Sophia talking about, which we find out that they didn't, collaborating on how they're going to play creepiness. This one I would have loved to have seen the stage direction or the direction to Kenny. As far as because everybody had a different takeaway from his face as they were praying and stuff.
Yeah.
And I got I pulled away from it and this is another one of those scenes where the dialogue was almost secondary to what was getting across, just like the, you know, like I got with the bullet count scene and stuff like that. It seemed like he actually was getting his hope renewed, or not religious faith, but just like faith that things aren't always terrible. Like something about the way she was talking, or maybe the words of her prayer or whatever, seemed like it wasn't just bouncing off of him. I mean, you know, he said, I'm not religious, and that's fine. And she said she doesn't, God doesn't care, blah, blah, blah. That's fine. Let it all, but it did seem like it did have some impact on him in some way. And he kind of like softened a little bit. And I was like, that's kind of exactly what prayer should do. It's supposed to like at least lift the burden temporarily on you. And I was interested to see if, I mean, and of course I'll never know, but I was wondering if that was what the screen direction was to him, or if they just told him, I mean, what Ricky He's mindset was during that scene. Like maybe, she wasn't praying for herself also. I mean, the first part of it was whatever, but the second part was all about the people in the town and let them rest well or something. And it almost, it seemed like it kind of like lifted him, it lifted him, a little bit of the burden or whatever off of him just for that briefest moment. And then it was, then it was broken or whatever. But I was I thought his facial reaction, very subtle. I wondered what exactly the motivation behind that was, and what if it even had any significance.
Yeah, if it even means anything. It could just be, yeah. And that's the thing with From, it's you see some of these things and you start to wonder, okay, was that deliberate? Does that have a little bit of a deeper meaning, or was it just coincidence? Is that nothing? And that's what's fun about From, for me anyway, trying to decide, okay, what should I be paying closer attention to, and what should I be ignoring? But yeah, I think, Kenny's one of the few characters that I am really hoping will make it to the end, that I think will make it to the end. I feel like they've really been setting this whole, Kenny taking over for Boyd thing. They've been setting it up since the very beginning of the show. So I would, love to see that happen at some point. I don't think Boyd's going to survive the entirety of the series. As much as I want him to, I would love Boyd to survive and make it out of here. If anyone deserves a happy ending, it's freaking Boyd. But something tells me that his storyline is very much heading for a noble hero's death, a death that helps save the town. And if that is the case, maybe Kenny can pick up where Boyd left off and finish the job. That's what I'm hoping anyway. But you never know. Kenny could get snuffed out this freaking season. I would be shocked. I would be shocked. I will say that, like, if Kenny gets killed off, I will definitely be shocked. Just considering everything that's happened to him, everything that he's lost, you put a character through all of that. You want to see that character, you want to see that character's full story. And even, we hear some of the creators of From talking about, what, true writing is about creating characters that people love and then making the audience watch them suffer. That is Kenny's character in a nutshell. Creating a character that some people like, some people don't. That's fine. But creating a character that they're hoping you're gonna like, and then watching him suffer. And we've watched Kenny do nothing but suffer from the very beginning, from losing his mom, losing his dad, losing Christy. It would just be such a shame if they were to put him through all that just to kill him off too. So I don't see him getting killed off.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that would be to me, like, as far as plot armor, just writing wise, you can't snuff out the entire Lou bloodline.
The whole Lou family, all three of them getting snuffed out in Fromville. Come on.
I think Ethan has a better chance of dying than Kenny does. But that ain't gonna happen either, obviously. But I mean, they established in season 1, episode 1 that kids are not off the table, but I do think Ethan's off the table. But yeah, they're not gonna. And Kenny he was a little petulant when he was being mean to Sarah or whatever.
He's grown a lot as a character.
Yeah. And there are a lot of these manly moments too. I mean, he's been sensitive. He's broken down, when he cried with Boyd or whatever. But even on this scene, the same scene that I noticed that his gun belt is Wyatt Earp style, is when they're by the ambulance, and it's a super quick scene. It's like I'm going up to Colony House, or I'm gonna go to the clinic for tonight. You need to go see Fatima. He's telling Boyd, you need to go see Fatima and Ellis at Colony House. And they do that like manly shoulder pat thing, and it's like, okay, that's very, very consistent. But I'm not going to shoulder pat my boss or whatever, because I don't have that kinship or the respect. I don't have the respect for him to that they're a person. So no, I think Kenny's character is growing, and I think he's well poised to take over. And I think you're exactly right that the more they established Kenny as a valid replacement, or the stronger his character gets, and the more correct decisions he makes in a crisis, the less well that bodes for Boyd, because as soon as there's I think that is a bad thing. Oh, is Douglas leaving? It looks like people are waving goodbye.
Yeah, it looks like Doug is off for sleep. I mean, it is all after midnight after all. But thank you, Doug. Very much. Always appreciate you coming in and hanging out with us for a little bit. It's always a blast talking with you, my friend. And for those who maybe didn't see our episode 1 watch party, towards the end of the watch party, when we are in our after show discussion part of it, Doug actually joined us on panel. And he talked a little bit about some of his preparation coming into season 4, how it kind of maybe differed a little bit from, him just getting introduced to the character at the end of season 3. So if you guys haven't seen that interview, check out our episode 1 watch party and head towards the end of it around the 4-hour mark. And you'll be able to catch it. I've been meaning to upload that interview as a separate video, and I will as soon as I have time to get in there and cut it out. I'll upload it as a separate video so people don't have to go fishing to find it. But really, really fun interview we did with him when he popped on. And thank you for that, Doug. That was a blast. But yes, good night, my friend. I hope you're having a good one. And we all are looking forward to episode 2.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're happy that he's not always in shapeshift form throughout the rest of the show. It's pretty much established that he is going to be in Doug form, Man in Yellow form, at a future point in the series.
I hope so. Yeah, that was one thing I was very much wondering how much how many different forms is he going to take? I guess is the Man in Yellow only going to be in Sophia form for the duration, or are we going to see the Man in Yellow form again? Will we see him turn into Jim? We saw Jim in the trailer. Yeah, it looks like we're going to see multiple of the forms that the Man in Yellow might take on. So that should be fun to see. The people want to know, did Donna and Henry become an item? The chat demands an answer to the important questions. I don't think so, but I mean, it was hard to at least deny when we saw that scene in season 3 of Donna and Henry meeting. I don't know if it was them meeting for the first time or the scene when Donna was showing him the extra clothes, like where to find, proper extra clothes. A lot of people saw something there. I mean, a lot of people said they thought there was a little chemistry there between Donna and Henry.
If this roll-away bed's a rocking, don't come a knocking. Right.
I mean, yeah, Henry's rooming with his son Victor now. It's going to be a little tough. He's going to have to sneak off to Donna's room, if anything. But I don't know. I don't know if we'll see that. I don't know if we'll see that. We'll see. I feel like Jade won't make it to the end of season 5, but I'm really hoping I'm wrong. I'll be honest, Jade is another one of those characters that I am kind of worried about. Like, just considering what's happened to all of these previous incarnations, it seems like none of these previous Jades, seems like none of their lives ended well. It seems like not a single one of them got a happy ending, and they all died here in Fromville, it looks like. Yeah. We saw what happened. I mean, I imagine, it looks like Christopher died here. I imagine every other iteration that got pulled into Fromville, it seems like they all failed before Jade and Tabitha. It seems like none of them have ever successfully saved the children. So seems like they've all probably died horrific deaths.
Right.
So yeah, that makes me worried. That definitely makes me worried about Jade. Like, is he just another in a long line of Jades that is going to fail and end up dying? Or could he succeed and still die? Maybe this Jade and this Tabitha will finally succeed to save the children, but ultimately it will cost them their lives. And maybe them sacrificing their lives is part of it. I believe PM brought up something similar to those lines, where maybe, part of the answer is Jade and Tabitha ultimately sacrificing their lives for the children in some manner. But I don't know. I feel like if the show were to end with Jade and Tabitha dying, I don't think I would be too surprised, I guess.
Yeah, it's weird. I mean, does that mean that they would have to like die in a sacrificial way, because they all end up dying? It can't just be the raw death of the reincarnate cycled, Jade and Tabitha. I mean, I guess they would have to do it in that specific format, huh? Like blood for blood on the sacrificial rocks or the stones or whatever they are.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, it could be pretty interesting
if that's what it takes to break the cycle. And that is what it's all about. Is they've established this now. It's a never-ending cycle of reincarnation that has to be broken some way, and none of the other people have been able to do that.
Yeah,
which is weird.
Captain Shriver says, I just received a gifted membership from to the channel. It's good to be back as a member, although I've been watching. Well, thank you, Captain Shriver. Yes, I believe you have Karina. I believe it was Katrina Marie 420 who gifted that particular membership that you received. So big thank you to Katrina for gifting those memberships earlier. Incredibly, I mean, you guys have been super generous, super freaking generous. But yeah, welcome to all of the new members. Yeah. I watched the episode last season where Henry is talking to Ethan and says, where's the motel? I think that the motel is still there. We just can't see it. I believe we'll be back before the end of the show. And I forget who brought it up, but someone I believe it might have been Golden Child or Xavier. I believe it might have been one of them who brought up the idea that a similar idea that the motel isn't gone, that the motel is indeed there, that maybe the only way to access it is a similar way to how Boyd accesses the ruins, how he has to go inside the circumference of the ruins and light that torch in order to even gain access to the actual room. Again, I'm blanking on who exactly said it, but I know it came from the chat. The idea that maybe something similar is going on with the motel, that maybe the motel is there. They just need to find the right circumstances to make it appear the way Boyd made the ruins appear with the torch. And I thought that was a pretty interesting theory, if nothing else. If nothing else, it could explain why we're not seeing the motel, maybe.
Right. And we've never seen the motel in its intact form at any point, even in flashbacks.
Ever. Yep. So yeah, I don't know what's up with the motel. When it comes to the motel itself, I myself personally, I don't really have like one really set theory as to why there's just a sign, why there's just the pool, why there's no building. It's one of those things that is just super fucking weird about this place. Yeah. Again, there's a lot of good theories out there, some theories that I've heard that, sound pretty interesting. But in terms of how, what I believe, I don't know, man. I still have no idea what's up with this motel, and I ain't going to pretend to know. Hopefully we find out. I mean, that is something that everybody's really wanted to know. And I'm glad you mentioned that scene, Captain Shriver, because I feel like Henry, asking that question kind of brought that mystery back into the forefront. Where, if you stop to think about things and you kind of forget about certain little small mysteries, like what was dragging the tent at the end of season 1. Like it's something that you can easily forget about if they don't reference often enough. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I like how Henry specifically mentioned, hey, where's the motel?
Right. It's not like a ruin. I mean, the sign is a ruin. The sign is a ruin and the pool's a ruin, but there's not like it was demolished and
it's not like there's a foundation there that was like destroyed or something. It literally looks like there was just never a motel built, that it was literally just a hotel, that it's just a pool and just a sign. Yeah. But I think the point of Henry asking that question, seeing one of our characters ask that question within the show, that does give me a little bit more confidence that we will get an answer, at least, as to what is really going on with this motel.
Oh man, that's mind bending just to think that, yeah, there, and who knows what. I was always like skeptical of the utility of I mean, if you don't have enough talismans to secure, even if it's a 12 room motel or a small one or something, if you don't have enough talismans, then it may not be that useful, but it still would make it completely vanish or not exist at all. So I mean, they could have done something, and you could have done something with it. I mean, not every building has to be secured, at night. I mean, you could still make use of those rooms, during the day, even if people aren't going to be sleeping in them or staying in them. So yeah, there would have been a reason to keep and then if it is something like the ruins where you have to pass through a port, you have to use a torch portal or whatever to get to it. What is going on, and why would that be?
What the fuck's going on in that motel that it needs to be fucking hidden? I mean, we saw why the fucking dungeon was hidden. It was hidden because Martin was locked up in there with this dangerous fucking supernatural bio weapon under his fucking skin. That's why Martin was hidden down there. So if you're hiding a whole fucking whole motel, what the fuck's inside that motel?
Right.
But no, I'm hoping, I'm confident we'll get an answer as to what's really going on with the motel. I have to imagine the writers know that's one of the big things that people want answered. So I have to imagine we'll get an answer.
It's kind of a Chekhov's gun too. You can't just put that out there
and not answer
talk about
right?
it.
Come on. I mean, they very well could, but
yeah.
I don't think they will. I think we'll find out what's going on with the motel eventually. But yeah. A lot of good theories. A lot of really good theories surrounding the motel. Oh, I always like the motel. I like the motel theories because I myself don't really have one set motel theories. Like I have certain theories about other aspects of the show, but whenever it comes to the motel, I've never been like all in on any of the theories that I've tried to come up with. I've never been like super 100% behind. That's why I love hearing everybody else's motel theories, because I myself don't really have any motel theories, but it's interesting to listen to them. But I think we'll figure it out. I think we will find out at some point.
Yeah, I think it's one of those things that will be interesting to find out behind it, but I wouldn't like elevate it to the, because like everybody likes to say the key to everything is here and the key to everything is there.
I don't think there is one key to everything anywhere.
No. But it'll be interesting to find out, and they'll be able to check off their list of things that of questions that do get answered. So.
And Bill Chill might have the answer here. The pool was built for Dale. In all timelines, he takes a dive. Maybe that is the case. Maybe Dale's destiny in every timeline is to end up the Fromville eternal pool boy.
The recycled Dale, reincarnated Dale.
Maybe it shows up at a certain time at night. Maybe a reason why the monsters roam at night. Maybe again, it seems like there are rules for all of this stuff. We might not know the rules yet, but that's one thing we always hear the actors and the creators talking about in terms of like there being quote unquote certain rules to this place. And maybe the monsters coming out at night is just another one of those rules, one of the rules that they have to abide by. They can't come out during the day, and it's just that simple. But yeah, again, it does feel that we are on the cusp, at least, of starting to get some of these answers. Now that we are in the final 2 seasons, I do get the feeling we're going to start getting answers to some of these big things. Because even John Griffin stated in that recent interview he did with the Hollywood Reporter, he said a lot of season 4 was them going back and answering mysteries that they had set up all the way back in season 1. So I definitely get the sense we're going to start getting some of these answers this season, and we're not going to have to wait for the final season. We're going to get some of them this year.
Yeah, I'm hoping. I mean, honestly, what I'm hoping for this season is even if the townsfolk have to lose some more people, and I think again, and we've seen it. We kind of saw it even in this first episode. There's so many characters that you have to deal with and push forward in their plot lines and stuff, and adding more there does need they do need to start culling. And I know, I mean, it might be that everybody's hooked up on 47 as the equilibrium number where it always maintains 47. Well, when you start going below that, maybe that is, and they don't get replaced, maybe that is a sign that things are really different this time, this cycle around. And they do. I mean, we were just talking about Bacta in the she wasn't in this episode, the one that took over the diner, the bus driver.
Bacta. Yeah, Bacta. We haven't really seen much yet ever since she offered to reopen the diner. We haven't really seen much of her since then. But maybe this will be the season where they finally dive into her story a little bit more. I don't know.
Yeah, and they did bother. I mean, again, we talked about that because I mean, there are pure red shirts that are just background, and then there are people that they actually did give.
And then there's secondary characters and main characters. She seems to be more of a secondary than a red shirt. Yeah.
And
sure.
But they need to bring her back. I mean, if they're going to kill her for an emotional impact, they need to make you care about that character not being there. For anybody. So, but again, they had so many they have so many characters, and they had so many characters. I think this is going to be the season where they lose a lot of people, but I think they learn the secret to defeating whatever it is, and then hopefully season 5 will be making the plan and putting the plan in place, because I don't think they can wait too long. I mean, if there's going to be a happy ending, there has to be a plan to win, and it has to
begin to take fold probably towards the end of this season heading into next season, but we got to lose some people along the way. For sure.
Yeah. And I don't think that, I mean, there's that thing where you make a plan and then it fails. I think we've already gone through that part with the bio bullets. You make a plan, you take a gamble, see if it works, and then it didn't pan out. So that, the first time you fail, the second time, I'm not a scholar of the hero's journey, but it seems like that's part of that too. Like, you have an initial setback, and then there's always
the initial questioning, the part where the hero questions himself, where they doubt, where they wonder if they should turn back, and they need to kind of take that moment to ultimately press on. Very textbook hero journey stuff for sure. And I just thought this was funny. Glue Guns and Roses says, also, there's no Dollar General in the small town. I have never been to a town with less than 50 people that didn't have a Dollar General. More shocking to me than this is true. I mean, these Dollar Generals are everywhere, and even Fromville doesn't have a Dollar General. So very true. Very, very true. Fucking Dollar Generals. Let's see what else we got here. We also got another $4.99 from Sunflower. Knowing the Man in Yellow, the scene of the two scariest people in town, Sarah and Sophia, is it the soul of the dead communicating with Sarah, or Sophia torturing her? Now, that's a very good question, Sunflower, and one I've even wondered myself as well. Now that we have found out that this Man in Yellow has kind of made himself known, at least to us as the audience, and we know that they tied this character all the way back to the voice on the radio at the end of season 1. So clearly this character is capable of kind of manipulating, radio waves. Or maybe, I don't know if the Man in Yellow literally had a radio on his end that he intercepted the call with, or if it's more of a supernatural kind of thing where he can kind of we've seen he can do kind of some crazy shit already based on what he did when he was in Sophia's form, bringing that guy back to life, putting her hand on him, bringing him back to life. When they're in the car earlier, she puts her hand on his chest and he instantly has a seizure and causes the car to crash. So this Man in Yellow seems to have other abilities that we don't even know yet. So I think that's definitely at least a possibility. These voices that Sarah has been hearing, is it really voices of disembodied people that have been killed here and that are trapped here? Or, could this potentially have been the Man in Yellow manipulating Sarah the whole time? Because we, as Sunflower mentions, we do see that Sarah is going to start hearing something again at some point in season 4. We see the shot in the trailer of her covering her ears like she's hearing some sort of message from these voices again. And then we see Sophia coming up behind her, getting ready to comfort her. So, I think that's actually a very valid question. Are these really voices that Sarah is hearing, or was this the Man in Yellow doing it to her the whole time? I don't know. Again, good. It's a legit question, if nothing else.
Yeah. I and for me somehow it is almost like is different. Like to project yourself into a radio is different than projecting yourself into a mind, but it may not be different. There may not be a difference.
Yeah, I guess I guess we just don't really know what this guy's capable of. Like, what other abilities does the Man in Yellow have? Who know? I mean, we've seen shape shifting, superhuman strength. We've seen, him or in his Sophia form, again, put his hand on the priest's chest, and the priest instantly had like this seizure and fell into a coma. And then she kind of puts his hand on his chest again when he's laying in the hospital bed, wakes him up. So this Man in Yellow seems to have some interesting, otherworldly abilities on top of just shapeshifting. I again, is him kind of getting into Sarah's head one of those abilities? I guess I don't know.
That was actually good. I did actually like that part. That wake up,
wake up. And she wakes him up. Yeah,
and it did. And he was still paralyzed. He was still mostly incapacitated. But she brought him whatever she put him into. She was able to bring him out of, which I thought was super. Which is another cool ability in her toolbox of abilities.
Yeah, it's just more stuff that we need to know about the Man in Yellow. Just what exactly is this character capable of? But thank you, Sunflower, for the super chat. Oh, you another glitter bomb. Thank you. But yeah, I just, again, it feels like things are moving a little more rapidly than they have in previous seasons. It seems like the pacing is going to come at a little bit more of a steady rate. I get the feeling answers are going to start to come as that pace continues. And again, it just feels like season 4 is the season we've been waiting for. Like, when we look at all the stuff, all the mysteries that have been set up on this show, all of the character driven moments, all of the character development we've gotten from these great characters, it seems like this is the season where it's all gonna kind of come to a head. And if the, anything that the creators have been saying before the season began is any indication, then it looks like they're also kind of hinting that this is going to be that season as well. So I'm just glad it's here. I know people have wanted answers to the mysteries for a very long time. Don't get me wrong, I do too. I definitely want some answers to these mysteries as well. But I'm very much looking forward to seeing, these characters having some really good progression this season in terms of finding out like where are these characters going to be going, what are going to be their final storylines heading into these final 2 seasons. Right. But again, it just feels like we're on the cusp of finally getting those answers that a lot of us have wanted.
Yeah, and I don't know. I don't care. I'm less involved in the reincarnation, the Jade and Tabitha thing. Somebody called it the Polter Gym. That meant nothing to me. That had zero impact on me at all. It was like, oh, spooky. The fucking beef stew fell on the floor in the cabinet. Okay, moving on. It had zero impact on me. Don't know, don't care. Whatever. That had nothing. It had nothing for me. And I mean, it'd be interesting to see if they try to develop it into anything. But it was just like, why is this even there? There's enough spookiness and weirdness going on that it was like, what? Why do we? Yeah, maybe it is Polter Jim.
Yeah, I think it's Jim. And PM brought this up, the night the episode aired, right when we were doing our watch party, where she thought it was probably, Jim trying to reach out to his family from beyond the grave, and it's kind of manifesting in this chaotic kind of energy. And I think that's the most plausible theory that I've heard up until this point, that it is maybe Jim trying to reach out from beyond the grave, But yeah, I don't know.
Nobody else ever who's died in Fromville has come back other than maybe Katri, maybe then maybe then Tom. Yeah. They actually come back in person. Yeah, Katri had talked to him in person. Rattles the cabinetry.
Yeah, it's just it'll be interesting to see what's going on there, if that what is really causing the cabinets to shake like that. Is this really Jim trying to reach out from beyond the grave, or is this just another trick from Brillo's playing on them? I don't know. I think it might be again, I like the Jim theory that PM was discussing.
It'll be interesting.
But
Yeah,
we'll
it'll
see.
be interesting to see what they do. And I mean, I'm still stoked for this season. I'm hoping Harold wasn't just leading us down the primrose path with episode 2 being consequential. I think there may be it might be the first time in recorded history that MGM hasn't like said everything that they possibly could and spoiled something. Maybe there is something to be surprising in episode 2.
Yeah, maybe like beyond, and that's the thing. Heading into episode 2, I think maybe a lot of us are hoping or expecting that maybe they'll finally find Jim's dead body. Maybe that will be the big moment in episode 2. They'll find out about Jim's death. But yeah, maybe there's something else. Like maybe there's something else hidden in episode 2. Because again, when you hear Harold Perrineau, the actor who plays Boyd, straight up saying that episode 2 was one of his favorite episodes of the season. It really sets the tone for the rest of the season. I mean, that just makes me super excited to see the second episode. What is he talking about? Is he talking about the death of Jim being discovered? Or does something else happen in episode 2 that also sets the tone going forward? So if anything, I'm just that much more hyped now to see episode 2. Bring on fucking Saturday night, I say.
Yeah, I think the scenario you sketched out does make a lot of sense, though. That might actually be, Jim discovered it. I still think, I still think they'll go on a scavenger hunt or like a manhunt or whatever, search parties and stuff. But I think you're exactly right. I think that might be the shocking moment. I mean, I could see that happening and being narratively consistent and being a quality episode if the episode ends at the very end with, Jim's been under their nose the whole time in the garage, in the
barn, or in some gruesome manner. Yeah.
Right.
A commenter also said that Jim did make a promise to always be home at night last season, plus the cabinet foreshadow. I mean, that is true. Jim did say he promises to always be home before dark. And then when dark is coming around and he hasn't shown up, again, I like the cabinets thing. I feel like it lines up well timeline wise, where we know Jim has just been killed, so he's probably a fresh fucking spirit running around this place. But not only that, the last thing that Jim heard, which I think also might be some evidence towards this, the last thing Jim heard, the last thing he sees, we'll back up a little bit, is him getting killed by the man in yellow, is this weird kind of guy walking up to him and ripping his throat out. But then the last thing Jim sees and hears is the man in yellow talking about how he can't wait. What comes next is his favorite part. And he says, "Would you like to know why?" And then it cuts out. So I have to imagine that as Jim is dying, what's probably on his mind is, holy shit, this guy's going for my family next. Holy shit, my family is in danger. So with him dying in that manner and knowing that there is this new threat that has just been introduced, knowing that he has family out there that he can't protect anymore, I could see his spirit being like super chaotic energy where he's trying so hard to reach out to his family, and it's manifesting in these freaking cabinets just going haywire because he himself is going haywire. He himself is chaotic energy right now, desperately trying to warn his family of the danger that's coming.
Yeah. I guess I can see that. I mean, as people, the one theory of ghosts or what people think ghosts are, or are people that have incomplete task, and that makes sense. Yeah, if it's going to be wild and crazy like that, it might not be focused or whatever. Maybe Jim, like you said, he's a fresh spirit, not a stale one.
He's a fresh spirit, fresh into the ethereal world. He doesn't know how to create. He doesn't know how to control his ghost abilities yet. So he's just fucking all chaos in that freaking kitchen. Just
ghost walks
and pans.
He doesn't have a child to tell him the rules of his existence.
Yeah. He doesn't have Ethan to explain the rules of spirit walking yet. And BG says, I rewatched the scene several times. One thing that came to mind was Jim using Morse code through the cabinets. Ooh, they swung weirdly. Interesting. Very interesting. My first thought was run, but it doesn't look like it fits 100%. Ooh, now that's pretty interesting. I think that could be like super clever for them to kind of hide something like that in there. That could be interesting. But I don't know. I'm not super versed on Morse code myself, but no, that's interesting if nothing else. You never know. You never know what's hiding in this show. That's for sure. I can't wait. I can't wait either, Blue. I cannot wait either. I really do think this is going to be such a fun season. I really do. I think this is going to be such a fun freaking season. And whatever happens in episode 2, whatever made Harold Perrineau say that he really enjoyed episode 2 and that it sets the bar for the season going forward, I just can't wait to see what it is now. I think this is going to be fucking great.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now, all right, let's play the trailer for episode 2 one more time and give some of our last thoughts on it before we dive in on out of here. Now, again, this is the trailer for episode 2, which is airing this Saturday night at midnight, entitled Fray. And definitely come back and hang out with us, of course. This Saturday night, we'll be doing another live watch party, watch along like we usually do. And we'll see exactly what is in store for us for episode 2. But one more time, just in case anyone didn't see it earlier, here is the trailer for episode 2.
I need you to come back to the ruins with me.
Why?
Because I'm going to save him.
So you just walk inside? And then what? If people find out what you did, what we did, that's the kind of thing that could tear this place apart.
What is that? What's in the bag?
No, hurry.
I mean, so it seems like most of the trailer is trying to hype us up for this big motel reveal sign. Whatever's hanging from this motel sign seems like, at least most of the trailer anyway, is kind of geared a little bit around towards that. And Julie going to experiment with her story walking, which, we knew that was going to be the case. We knew Julie was going to be experimenting with her story walking abilities early on in the season. But here we see this one little scene in the trailer that I thought was interesting. It looks like Julie is story walking here, and then it cuts to this scene of the diner monster, the waitress monster, on top of somebody seemingly trying to hurt or kill them. Now, we do know that at some point, Julie is going to get a cut on her face from one of the monsters. Like we've seen the future version of Julie. She's got that claw mark on her face. At some point, it seems like she's going to have some kind of run-in with the monsters. Could this be it? Could this be the scene where Julie gets that scratch, where maybe she gets scratched and then disappears just in time? I mean, she is story walking here, so she can kind of just disappear, like teleport in a sense.
Yeah.
But maybe the monster gets a little scratch off before Julie disappears.
I think that's exactly what it is. I don't think there's really, there's always doubt, or whatever, but the sleeve, she has the white cuff under the black sleeve of her coat and stuff. I was like, it could it be something? Yeah, it could be, but it isn't. It's exactly what it appears to be. And I do think, and because her story, the future Julie with the scratch on her cheek, it's not even scarred up. I mean, it's still fresh and red.
Exactly. Yeah.
So she probably just, she blinks into that scene, finds herself, confronted by the monsters in the forest or whatever, and then blinks out. She's just practicing doing it. Maybe that's what part of her learning process is, learning how to go in and how to go out, regardless of what happens in the place she goes to, how to get back. She can leave and come back. Yeah. And that's half the battle right there. Yeah.
Exactly. And I could totally see that being the case where, where part of her this season is that it's her learning how to control this. Because it seems like at the beginning, when she starts story walking, it just spits her into different moments throughout the past. She doesn't seem to have any control as to where she lands, at least not yet. But yeah, maybe this is what we're going to see in season 4, her continuing to story walk over and over again until she has a better handle on it, until she can get to a point where she can travel exactly where she wants to go at will and doesn't have to worry about where she's going to end up. Because even when at the end of season 3, when we see her show up, she says, I think this is when it happens. I think this is it. So even that Julie seemed to be a little better at it, but still hasn't fully mastered it yet either. So yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see her trying to get a handle on this story walking ability. I think that'll be a big part of her story arc throughout at least the first half of season 4. Will her be trying to control this ability? And I wouldn't be surprised if the second half of season 4 is her trying to put that ability to use after she gets a better control over it.
Right. And again, it was presaged at the very beginning of this episode when the man in yellow says, "When did you come from?" So they've
When
been,
did you come from this time?
When did you come from this? Like, so he's already been through it. He's probably already seen Storywalker Julie. You know, when
Absolutely.
This time, when did you come from this time?
When did you come from this time? So it seems like at some point, at multiple different points in the future, Julie has traveled back to this one moment multiple times trying to save her father, and seemingly has failed every time.
Yep.
So yeah, I think that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be fun to see Julie try to get a handle on this, to see where she's going to go with it. Will she be able to control it? And if she does get control over it, will she ultimately be able to use it to their advantage? I mean, that's the thing. I mean, her getting control over it is just half the battle. Then she needs to figure out, okay, why was I given this ability, and what can I do to put this ability to good use that will help us get out of here? Now, of course, I mean, you know, the obvious answer kind of goes right to, oh, Julie's story walks all the way back to before the Ankhui sacrifice and stops it from happening. But I'll be very disappointed if that is the case. If it's as simple as her just going back in time and stopping the sacrifice and everything changes, like, that would be so underwhelming. That would be such a disappointing story if that is the case. And I don't think it's going to end like that. But I think it will be interesting to see, can Julie change anything? Or were Ethan and the man in yellow correct when they said all you can do is view the story, you can't actually change it? I guess.
Yeah. And I think that's going to be the major point in this thing, is she's going to figure out she's going to prove both of them wrong, because being able to travel back and not do anything is pointless. So part of her learning process is going to have to be refusing to accept that she can't change anything when she travels back, and figuring out a way to make it happen. Maybe she'll Arya Stark the one of the people back at the original sacrifice or something.
Maybe.
Who knows? Maybe she'll have to make sure that the original Tabitha and Jade go through with go through with the sacrifice, or end up themselves being sacrificed or something. Maybe she'll prevent the whole cycle from even starting. I'm just spitballing. I don't know how it would happen.
Yeah, who knows? Yeah, who knows how? And again, when they introduced this aspect of, they're calling it story walking, but it is essentially a version of time travel, essentially. When they introduced it, again, it's why I got a little bit nervous. I'm not going to lie, when they introduced this into the storyline, because stuff like this can convolute stories really quick if you don't have a really good plan as to how you're going to use this within the already established narrative. And that's the thing, when you're doing a time travel story, it's one thing when you're building a story around time travel, like Dark did. When you look at Netflix's Dark, that's a story that is built around time travel. So you can tell they really put a lot of thought into the mechanism behind their time travel and how it works, why it works. Like, it makes sense. But when you have a story like this that isn't necessarily built on time travel, where the narrative is built much more on horror, mystery, and suspense, and then you add that aspect to it, I don't know, it just makes me a little bit nervous, because it could get convoluted very quick if they don't have a good plan as to how they're going to use the story walking. And I'm hoping they do. Again, up until this point, I feel that the writers have, they've given us, reason to give them the benefit of the doubt. I feel like they've really written some really phenomenal stuff up until this point. The story's been very intriguing. The characters have been very intriguing. So I have to imagine, however they're going to use story walking on the show, they already have a plan in place as to how they're going to use it. At least that's what I'm hoping.
Yeah. And I'm very harsh on time travel. When they start going, all the mental stuff and the time travel and anything that it's like, is it forward, is it backward? Look, I'm the audience, man. You have to make me care And if you try to make it too confusing to the point where I don't care, then as storytellers, they've failed. So, I'm not at all, I'm not averse to getting 8 episodes into a show and then they just go too far with trying to be tricky and clever. Yeah. And I'll just say, okay, well, I'm done with you. Goodbye. I did like that. The one that we didn't get to read aloud about it, the cooking, Tabitha's cooking. That whatever stew or whatever it was, vegetable stew that fell on the floor, it looked more like after you eat it than before you eat it.
Yeah, it didn't look very appetizing. But then again, they are stuck in Fromville. I imagine they don't have a whole lot of stuff to choose from. But yeah, it looked like jail slop or something. I don't know what it looked like.
She hasn't done the no yet. You know what though?
People have been saying that. Yeah,
I think what gets me is I watch it with subtitles on because I want to catch everything. And it's really glaring when you see the same thing, because I do still call her Tabby 2 times because she says everything. It's okay. I know. It'll be fine. Every single thing. If she said every line only one time, she'd have half as many lines because every single thing is everything is repeating.
It does get a little off-putting and repetitive after a while, having one character have that same dialogue over and over and over again. Like there is such a thing as too many no's, and yes, Tabitha has way too many no's in her dialogue. And maybe that's something they recognized. I don't know, maybe that's something they realized. Maybe that's why we're not seeing a whole lot of no's in season 4. Maybe that's something they chose to tone down a little bit, maybe, I don't know. Or maybe we just haven't got to the point where she's gotten in that state of mind enough to spit out the no-no-nos. Maybe the no-no-nos are coming once she finds Chip's body.
When she's stressed, But I did notice though that it's more noticeable to me when I'm watching it with subtitles on.
With subtitles,
you're also seeing it. Yeah,
because you see it. You're reading it and hearing it, so it sticks out that much more. Because I'm the same way. I watch all of my shows with subtitles, especially with the closed caption descriptive subtitles as well, because sometimes there'll be descriptions in the subtitles that you don't see when you're just watching the show. And this happened in season 3. When season 3 was airing, when we got to the part at the new ruined settlement, Cannibal Village, and we started hearing the footsteps outside of the cabin. If you just watch that scene, you're just, all you have is your ears to go on. But if you watch that scene with the subtitles on, you literally see the description of the audio where the description straight up says footsteps departing. That sound is literally described as footsteps departing from the cabin, and the tapping on the cabin is also described as tapping on cabin. So there is some things in the subtitles that you might catch that you won't catch if you're not watching the show with subtitles. So I do always recommend to people, I mean, I know not everybody likes subtitles, but if you can get through watching an episode of a show with subtitles on, sometimes you'll catch things that people without the subtitles won't catch.
Yeah, and that scene is specifically the tapping on the cabin and the footsteps. I would not have picked up on that. I mean, you heard something, but I wouldn't have known what it was. Yeah,
exactly. And that was part of the debate. That was part of the debate was what exactly was shuffling around outside of the cabin. What exactly was that noise?
Right.
When you have the subtitles on, you get the answer to that question. It was definitively footsteps. So yeah, like you said, you can learn a lot from subtitles when you're watching a show. Yeah, I love my subtitles too. I watch everything with subtitles. It's just more beneficial, It's just more beneficial, especially people like us. We're not like just usual normie casual fans. People like us that are very invested into these shows, like I feel like a lot of us have a little bit more of a critical eye. I feel like maybe we think a little bit deeper than just like normal fans that are just watching the show and then they forget about it until next week comes around and another episode comes around. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing
people
wrong
like
with
us, like the chat,
just a casual show. If you're just watching it just casually, there's nothing wrong with that. But yeah, people like us, like we're analyzing it. We're asking questions. What does this mean? What does that mean? What's really going on here? So for people like us, yes, the subtitles on while you're watching it is really beneficial because we can pick up, it can just help us pick up little interesting stuff that people like us kind of look a little bit deeper for, because we're so invested in the show. We like the story and we think a little more critically. And yeah, they help. The subtitles are very interesting.
Yeah, and people like us, meaning the 240 plus in the chat too, because you guys are.
That's what I meant. Yeah, people like us, all of it. I mean, the From
people
fandom.
care about it. Yeah,
the From fandom. Yeah.
I didn't want to. I didn't want to seem like it's
think a little more critically. Everybody in the chat, everybody in the From fandom. Again, we're not like casual fans of the show.
True.
We're very much kind of analyzing it and looking at every little detail. So yes, the subtitles help for people that are invested in the show as we are. Yeah, it'll help.
Yeah, and that is part of the show. It's like, what does this mean? What is the significance of it? I saw what they showed us, but what does it mean? I don't know.
Yeah,
none of it.
No.
I'm as we know, I'm fighting with Amazon. It turned out like MGM, Amazon owns MGM, but the going through the Amazon app, I think it's just to keep it all in one app. Getting MGM through Amazon is just to keep it through one app, maybe, because there's no
really
benefit.
There's no benefit there, and that's another thing that a lot of people were bummed out with Saturday night, when everyone was expecting to watch the show at midnight right when it drops, and people that are watching through Amazon had to wait an hour or two later on to get it. So yeah, if you're watching MGM Plus through Amazon Prime, there's really no benefit, and if anything, you're at a disadvantage because you have to wait a little bit longer to get the episode. So yeah, I always recommend to people, if you're going to subscribe to MGM, just subscribe directly to MGM.
Yeah, I found out the hard way. I mean, I basically missed out on the entire like watch party and after part, because I was just like, well, fuck, 20 minutes. I waited 20 minutes. And I was like, okay, well, that's enough. And it might have popped up 30 minutes, but I would never know, because I went, still, and it ain't even that late for me. It's only, it comes on at 10 p.m. my time. So I'm actually, the point being that I've been known to accidentally slip sometimes and hit live stream on Discord, or like share screen while I'm watching it. And maybe if I have MGM Plus this weekend, which I will have through the actual MGM thing, we might actually have like a live watch. I can neither confirm nor deny, because that would be wrong.
Yeah. Yeah.
But I've made that mistake a time or two in the past. So
yeah. Well, if we can pull it off, we will, I guess. We'll say that. But yeah, no, I can't wait. I can't wait for Saturday. I think episode 2 is going to be really fun. I think Harold Perrineau is hyping the episode up even more with his comments, with his statement about episode 2 being an episode that really kind of sets the tone. So yeah, again, I think this is going to be a very interesting one. I'm just so glad From's back. It just feels so, good to be back in Fromville. When a show is off for this long, we really have to wait a good while in between seasons. It's not like it was back in the day. So when it comes back around, it doesn't feel like a show coming back on. It really feels like this. It feels like more like an event. Like From is an event. It's not just a show we watch. It's a legit event with everything that we plan around it, from all the videos we do, the live streams, the watch parties, the after shows. It's not just a show at this point. It really has become like a really big event that this channel really looks forward to, and I know all you guys look forward to as well. So yeah, it just feels great that From's back is all. So I'm pumped, super pumped that we're back at Fromville.
Yeah, absolutely. I am too. I'm stoked. It seemed so familiar. It didn't seem like it had been, when we were waiting for it, it seemed like it took forever. But again, this was a good first episode. It did get us right back up to speed with what's going on. It moved us forward a little bit, put a few more pieces in play. So while I wouldn't give it, I would love to be a fan. Yeah. The way I still feel in my heart though, that I'm the customer and that these guys are the people that have to provide me with the entertainment. Yeah. So I don't owe them anything. I don't owe them enthusiasm. They have to earn it, and I'll be glad to show it if they've earned it. But I think, this one I would say probably a good solid 8 out of 10 maybe, and then maybe knock off a point for Sophia's acting early on. So maybe a half point, 7.5 out of 10. But it definitely did what it should do for a first episode. So
It did. I think it did. In terms of like what a first episode should do, in terms of reintroducing you back into the story, reintroducing you back into these characters and where we left them last, and also setting up the story points going forward for the rest of the series, which they did pretty well with Man in Yellow and the reveal of Sophia and all of that. So yeah, in terms of like the episode, it accomplished what it needed to accomplish. Yeah. It did.
Acosta is going to be a pain in the ass again too.
Acosta is going to be a pain in the ass. Like, yeah, we're seeing all the fucking stuff, the foreshadowing for all the stuff that we're probably going to get later on in the season. But yeah, it's great. It feels good to be back. It feels good to be back. But yeah, there we have it, folks. Episode 2 is coming just around the corner. We took a look at the promo again. The promo is really short, doesn't show a whole lot. Looks like we are also going to get an interesting scene between Boyd and Elgin. That scene of the snippet that we get in the season 4 trailer of Elgin saying the truth always comes out eventually, with Boyd replying, "I'll make sure it doesn't." So it looks like we're going to get that in this episode. Again, the infamous motel sign scene is finally going to be happening. I know there's been tons of theories surrounding this scene in terms of what's hanging from this bag or who is hanging from this bag. So it looks like we'll finally get the definitive answer to that as well. So yeah, it looks like episode 2 is going to be pretty insane. And I am ready for it.
Yeah, a couple 9 out of 10s in the chat. So I mean, yeah, if people are loving it, that's what you want, man.
That's what you want. Yeah, I gave it an 8 out of 10 the first time I watched it, and I'd probably stay right around there, 7, maybe 7.5, 8 out of 10, because yeah, I feel like the first episode it accomplished what it needed to accomplish in terms of getting us back into Fromville and setting up this next chapter of the show that we're going to be diving into. I had some small nitpicks, some small things that, and that just happens. There's always certain things in episodes that, some people don't like, and that's totally fine. But overall, solid episode, solid start. So yeah, 7.5, 8 out of 10 for me. And yeah, bring on episode 2.
Bill Chill gives it 8.2, which is such a strange 8.
Hey, 8.2. I like it. I like it. I like it. I like your style. Bullshit. 8.2. Not 8.5, not 8.0. Right there in that middle, the little bit of extra 8.2. I respect that. I respect the hell out of that, Bill Chill.
So I'm thinking somewhere they lost a full point, and then somewhere else they lost 0.8.
Yeah. Or they gained a 0.2 somewhere. It was an 8 at once, and they gained a 0.2 for some cool speed, maybe. But I love that. Awesome stuff, Bill. We got 8.5, 9 out of 10. Yeah, it seems like the majority of people enjoyed this first episode. Love that. Love that. 9.5, 8.5, 9. We got 9.2. Fucking love it. 9.0, 8.3, 8.3 to the 10th power of 3 possible of 12. Hey, if that's your score, that is your score, Cap. I salute you, my friend.
I don't even know what that is. I'll have to grok that to even know.
I'll have to grok that later. Yeah, I'm not a mathematician. Yeah, I had a range of 7.8 to 8.6.
Oh my goodness!
Somewhere in that range.
Oh my goodness!
Good stuff, guys. Absolutely good stuff. Yeah, solid 9, 9.3. Fucking love it. 8.5. Awesome
like
stuff.
It,
yeah, it seems
a
like
lot
everybody.
Of enthusiasm. Yeah,
seems like everybody liked it. Yeah, love that.
Good.
Love that. Well, there you have it, folks. That is going to do it for us tonight on this fine Thursday evening. Raven and I are going to be doing streams every week. It'll probably be every week, either Wednesday or Thursday. We'll probably do Thursdays. This night is works pretty good for us.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll probably keep that schedule. Every Saturday, we'll be doing the live watch parties. And if we can do the live watch party watch along where we can play it in the Discord and on YouTube where you guys can have that option, we'll definitely try and set that up. But if not, we'll also be doing some streams on Sunday night as well, another after show discussion, plus all the episode breakdowns and stuff. So we got a lot of fun stuff we're going to be planning for season 4. I hope you guys come and hang out with us for it. And yeah, hopefully we see you guys Saturday night for episode 2's live watch party right here on the channel. And we will see where this crazy story is going to take us next. And of course, big thank you to Ravener for joining us on this fine evening. Thank you, my friend.
My pleasure, man. It was absolutely a blast every single time. You know, like I say, copious notes, but we get through
Copious
them all and talk about everything up one. You know, and the thing is, I don't really watch other shows or anything, so you know, something might be discussed up one side and down the other, and I'll never know, man. But it's all fresh to me. It's all new to me. So you're getting a nice, fresh, hot take that might be stale, but I don't know. To me, it's hot. It's the hottest of hot takes.
The hottest of hot takes, always. You know, it doesn't get hotter. But yeah, awesome stuff, guys. Awesome stuff. We got some more. We got another 9 out of 10 plus 1 for satisfying my from addiction. Hey, there you go. There you go. 47 out of 50. Fucking love it. Love it. We got a 9.5 out of 10. We got a 10 out of 10. 7 out of 10. The pace was meh, and that's totally fine. I mean, not if you didn't like the pace, and you know, there's always certain things about episodes that we're not always going to love, and that's totally cool. Nothing wrong with that at all. But yeah, 7 out of 10. Awesome. We got another 7 out of 10. Couple 7s. So yeah, I mean, again, looks like for the most part, it was a pretty decent start to the season. Pretty decent start to the season. But yeah, there we have it, folks. Big thank you to each and every one of you for joining us on this fine Thursday evening. And
all
again,
the gifted memberships and the super chats too, man. A lot this time.
Holy cow! Yeah, what am I
Started
thinking?
an avalanche.
I want to do one more glitter. We got to do one more glitter bomb for everybody who sent in super chats and gifted memberships this evening. Can't thank each and every one of you enough. I'm always kind of like overwhelmed and amazed at the support that we receive, because we're just fans. We're just fans like you guys. But I can't thank each and every one of you enough for taking some time out of your busy days and busy nights to come and hang out with us for a little bit, sharing your thoughts, sharing your theories. I know how precious time is nowadays. Time is money. We can't just throw our time away needlessly. So I really do appreciate anybody who takes even 5 or 10 minutes to come hang out with us for a little bit when we do these streams. It really does mean a lot to us, because again, I know how precious time is. So big thank you to each and every one of you for joining us. Hopefully we see you guys on Saturday night for the episode 2 watch party. And until next time, stay safe out there in this crazy, crazy world. Keep those tinfoil hats on, folks, and we will see you on the next one. Cheers.
Okay, ding dongs. If you don't subscribe to Jeremy Ice and Fire, you're gonna spend a night in the box.
Aren't Cooey.